You're listening to Bring Me the Axe. I'm Brian White. I'm one half of this morbid equation, and I'm joined by my co-host and brother Dave White. Hey, Dave, how you doing over there?
Oh, thank you for asking. I'm all right. And I heard recently my ongoing saga and fascination with the maxing phenomenon
Oh, no.
has escalated. I've just heard about a new thing. They call it ball maxing. Now, I need someone to explain to me why people are doing this.
Boy, I would love it if somebody explained that to me. Of the parts of the male anatomy that you would want to make bigger, why the balls?
No, I guess I wonder the same thing.
Why would you want bigger balls?
I don't know. It seems like it would be uncomfortable, for one.
It would.
But also, perhaps dangerous, hazardous to your health.
At the very least, very painful. Very painful. Them things is sensitive. Like you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with them.
Here's, I think, the real question for me. How many people are seeing this? Like, all right, you're going to smash yourself in the face with a hammer. Fine. Have at it. I guess. But, presumably, the people that are seeing your scrotum, they're probably your doctor, maybe one, not that often. And then the people you're having sex with.
In these cases, no one.
Yeah, that seems correct. So I don't think I understand. Well, here's what I know. This maxing trend started off bad. It's gone too far. It's like worse. I saw someone wearing pleated sweatpants the other day, and I was like, "This has gone too far." This is the pleated sweatpants of maxing.
Look, we just gotta take off and nuke the site from orbit. We have gone too far. We've gone too far.
There's no going back.
There is no going back. There's no hope.
God damn it.
There's no hope for the looks, Maxer.
Otherwise, I got nothing. Otherwise, I just got shoulder pain. Sciatica? Is that sciatica? Is that called shoulder pain?
Sciatica is down in your hips, in your legs.
Huh. Well,
you pinch the sciatic nerve, a little pressure on the sciatic nerve, it causes pain. It can shoot down as far as your ankle.
That's true.
After I had that a very terrible back injury, I for a very long time had sciatica that shot not just down one leg, but down both legs all the way. It's fucking terrible.
Lucky. Brag.
Yeah. Ooh, hey, don't mind me. I had sciatica in both legs.
Yeah, these are the perils of getting old. I got, for whatever reason, you just sleep wrong. You move wrong once in the night.
Look, you take a deep breath, you sneeze. Oh, God forbid you sneeze the wrong way.
Yeah. Blow your asshole out.
just ruin the whole ice cream portal.
Mm-hmm. The old ice cream portal.
That'll make sense to a lot of listeners in a few weeks. Don't worry about it.
God damn it.
Fuck, man. What a long goddamn day of podcasting we had. Yeah. But we're capping that off with a good one. One that I enjoy talking about tremendously. And I had a really good time researching this one. There's a lot of stuff I already knew. But like collating that data in a way I think is going to be very, very entertaining.
Collating.
I collate.
Nice.
So we practically grew up in neighborhood video stores and a steady diet of utter garbage that those shops provided us with continues unabated to this day. And there's no one else I enjoy chopping it up with more about trashy movies than Dave. Just before we get into it, just a little housekeeping. If you would like to keep up with us between episodes, you can also find us on Instagram at Bring Me the X Pod. Dave's over there at that Queer Wolf.
Yes.
Do give us a follow. We got a whole bunch of things, a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak. Podcast.
Yeah, we got Pride Month is coming up. Going to make some recommendations, and boy, are they some deep cuts.
We've done several years of Pride series, and we are kind of
bottom of the barrel.
We are hitting the terminal point, aren't we? Which is too bad because it's a time of year that I look forward to greatly because a lot of these
I can always find some new ones.
As I say, a lot of these are movies I've never heard of, and this year you hit me with a couple. With a couple of surprises. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, that's coming up. We've also got all of our, Are You Afraid of the Dark stuff. We've got our Patreon shit. It all gets pimped over there on the Bring Me the Axe Pod Instagram. And Dave as well. You know, plus, you know, we get the stories, a lot of I do a lot of memes, a lot of dumb bullshit. You've got a lot of art.
I do like art.
A lot of art, a lot of interesting shit. So yeah.
It's turkey season. I've been taking pictures of turkeys that, you know, that happen upon
them just invading the city. Just making themselves more inconvenient. It's like all the Harvard students go away just in time for the turkeys to come in.
I want them to fight each other.
Whoever wins, we lose.
That's right. Whoever wins owns the city.
Yet another.
God help us either way.
Another alien reference there for you. Another one. And if you don't know, we got another show called 99 Cent Rental where we cover all manner of video store madness in the weeks of Bring the Axes Off. Our latest episode covering David Lynch's Blue Velvet is out now. That's a hell of an episode. It's a really, really good episode that we got going on there. That's a fucking fantastic movie. And next week, we're going to be back with 99 Cent Rental with a look at the sequel to this very movie, Aliens.
That's right.
Yeah. And don't sleep on our Are You Afraid of the Dark rewatch pod with Mikey from The Rewatcher and Eileen from Uike Aurora. It's called
Hilarious.
It's called Laughing in the Dark.
Stuff.
It's fucking funny as hell. It's goddamn funny. Each one of us, every week, we take turns, and each one of us sort of breaks down an episode, and we crack wise. There's japes. It's good.
Chicanery.
Wordplay. A lot of off-color comedy, you might say.
Yes.
You can also contact us directly, bringmethexpod@gmail.com with any questions, comments, or suggestions. Do let us know if there's a movie that you love and would like to hear us give it the business. And if you'd like to support us on Patreon, you can look us up over there at patreon.com/bringmethexpod. There's a couple of tiers you can join there. All paying members get ad-free episodes. Subscribers at the $5 a month tier, the Greasy Jeans Gang, can look forward to our bi-weekly X-Files rewatch pod, Do You Think I'm Spooky? Latest episode is a look at season 2 episode, Fearful Symmetry.
Boo.
Yeah, God damn it. Get that shit out of here. Glad that we were past that one. There's also a monthly Bring Me the X hard sell on the Do You Think I'm Spooky?
Yeah.
Man, this episode sucks.
Want to hear it? We'll tell you all about it.
Yeah. And to be a little more clear on that, I mean, that's 50% X-Files, 50% this day in 90s history. It's a lot of fun. Us sort of realizing just how little things change. And there's also Bring the Axe Millennium Edition, which is a bonus episode in which we explore a modern horror movie. The current episode is a look at Green Room.
Ooh.
Green Room.
Violent.
Very violent. Very violent punk rock siege movie. We liked a good deal. And all Patreon subscribers, even the free tier, get access to our Discord server. All paying members get access to additional channels like voice and video chat and the watch parties option. Once again, that's patreon.com/bringmethexpod. Watch parties option. You pop in, you watch a movie with us.
Did you watch this one?
We did watch this one. It was good. We watched the director's cut version of this one.
Yeah, and that one is longer?
It's a few minutes longer. It's stuff that even Ridley Scott himself has been like, yeah, I wish I didn't put that one out. Yeah.
This was like that when that was like early 2000s when it was all the rage to be putting out new cuts.
I think the director's cut came out in 2003, which is like right in the middle of like that when like everybody came out with the director's cut. I think it was Ridley Scott who kicked off the whole director's cut thing when they released the Blade Runner director's cut. And then after that, everybody had to have fucking director's cut, whether
the reality is like 8 times out of 10, the movie you see in the theater is the director's cut.
Like we always do the theatrical cut, and for the most part, most of the time, with a few exceptions, it's the director's original intention. But of course, you're buying, DVD comes around, and I mean they've been doing that as far back as like laser discs and shit. But like, there's a novelty in owning like the version that like includes the scenes that you used to just get in the sort of like DVD extras.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
I like that shit.
I can't really think of a movie that really sort of like is improved. I mean, apart from Blade Runner, just because Blade Runner was fucked with tremendously, but like, I can't really think of a movie where the director's cut really sort of adds any value, I'm sure there's something. If I thought about it, I could probably come up with one or two, but
it's usually like the shit that gets cut is usually for like violence too. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you need it?
RoboCop, the extended cut of RoboCop, I think is a better movie because it's more violent.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah. Also, hey, check out the show notes for a link to the merch shop if you'd like to get your own Bring Me the Axe or 99 Cent Rental tee or hoodie. We got a whole bunch of little designs over there.
Yeah. You should buy stuff. Give to me your money.
And lastly, if you like what you hear, you can subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on YouTube. Search us by name and subscribe if you prefer to consume your podcast that way. And you'll be doing us a favor by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Takes but a moment. That number had ticked up in both places.
Okay, we'll see. That I like that.
See, just putting it out there, asking nicely. It works.
Yeah, it costs you nothing.
Takes but a moment, and it helps us out tremendously.
It really does.
Yeah. And if you listen on YouTube, do us a favor and give the episode a like and leave a comment because we love hearing from you guys. Mm-hmm. Just want to get that all out of the way right at the top of the show because we're going to show you the trailer. Actually, this is not the trailer because
the trailer doesn't have any dialogue.
The trailer has no dialogue. This is a sort of like modern trailer made by somebody on YouTube.
Calling traffic control. Do you read me, Antarctica?
Some of you may have figured out we're not home yet. What? Intercepted a transmission of unknown origin. Mother's got us up to check it out.
What kind of a transmission?
Unknown.
Come on, over here. What do you got?
Plug us in.
Navigation lights on.
Found the quadrant.
Take it down.
6-minute declination. 39 degrees, 2 seconds.
Ash, can you see this?
My God. Yes, I can. I've never seen anything like it.
It seems to have lies.
That transmission doesn't look like an SOS.
What is it?
It looks like a warning.
Whatever it was big. What the hell are you talking about?
We found this laying there. No blood. Nothing.
We have to stick together.
Can you open that hatch right now? Do you hear me?
There's gotta be a way of killing it. How do we do it? Move! Get out of there!
You can't.
It's a pretty good trailer. I will say the choice of music.
Yeah, the music is the one thing about it, because I would say that's a pretty good movie trailer. Like, you know, I feel like it hypes you up. It shows you the stuff that'll get you excited. Does not give you anything. Doesn't even show the alien.
Well, neither does Ridley Scott through most of this movie.
But yeah, that music pick fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Alien.
Woo!
One of my favorite movies.
It's a good movie.
Another one of my favorite movies. We have done a number of movies that I would call my favorite movies lately. And
I don't think we've done one of my favorites in a long time. We have not since Mulholland Drive.
We gotta get another favorite on there for you. Something you can just gush about. You know,
I think there's something coming up.
Yeah, this one goes way back because I remember Dad talking about this one because I think he saw this in the movies.
This was also one that was on television a lot because as scary as it is, well, it's not that scary, but as kind of legendary as it is, it, aside from swearing, there's not much that needs to be cut.
Right. Even the scenes where the alien kills the crew members, it's like, and then it's over.
Yeah, it's very Jawsian in that way where it's like, you know that what you have when shot very quickly from the side looks cool as hell, but if you shoot it dead on for an extended period of time, it looks real fucking stupid.
Yeah, I do recall this one. Like this one sort of was a big enough title that it sort of got out into the sort of broader cultural consciousness, like that even me at 9 years old was like, oh, I want to see Alien. And
I'll tell you what, part of that I think is that this is, even now, I watched this thing, I've seen this movie a million fucking times. I watched this today and I'm like, this is an achievement. This is a visual achievement to this film.
Holy shit. I mean, it's not Ridley Scott's first movie, but I've seen The Duelists. It's okay. But this is the first time that like Ridley Scott really figures out what his sort of like signature visual aesthetic is. He really nails it down with Blade Runner, but this is the one where it's that fucking wide Panavision anamorphic lens, the big shots. It's lots of steam, lots of flashing lights, lots of fucking handheld. Oh man, this guy just fucking figures it out. It's such a good looking movie. The alien design is so goddamn good. Everything from the script to the cast to the special effects. Like this is a fucking towering achievement of a movie, which is crazy because when it was received by audiences and critics, they were like,
Like, well, it was boring.
Yeah.
Not some people. Other people threw up in the theater.
Where's the fucking lightsabers?
A fair question.
Yeah. But I do recall, like, when I was at my friend Eric's, we were still living in Marblehead, and I was at my friend Eric's house, and his parents had rented it, and the tape was there on the table next to the TV, and I was like, oh my God, I want to see that movie. And he was like, Mom, can we watch this movie? And she's like, that movie's really scary, you guys. It's like not really appropriate for you. And we badgered her until she was like, all right, I fucking warned you though. And then
you got an hour in and you're like, isn't there aliens in this?
No. We got to the point when
this just seems like a workplace drama.
When the face hugger jumps out of the egg onto Kane's helmet, we were like, ah, like we hid behind the chairs and shit. And she was like, told you, and turned it off. And that was as far as I got until, much later. So here's the facts. Get comfortable. I did a lot of research on this one. The year was 1979.
Ooh.
Year of our Lord. Good year for horror movies. Mm-hmm. You know what came out in 1979? Lucio Fulci's Zombie.
A hell of a movie.
Hell of a movie. It's not a hell of a movie, but I still enjoy it a great deal. The Amityville Horror.
I have a soft spot in my heart for that movie. It's not very good.
It's the same thing.
The acting is hammy as fuck.
It's another movie where it's 2 hours and change and nothing fucking happens for 60 minutes.
And yet it warms me.
I love it. James Brolin looking very good.
Yeah, he does. It's like you took the two hottest people you could find in the 70s.
Fucking peak Margot Kidder.
Mm-hmm.
Jody the Dancing Pig.
Yep. Also looking good.
Don't change. Don't you change a thing.
Looking fine.
Yeah. Also in 79, Phantasm.
I believe we also enjoyed that film.
We enjoyed that one a great deal. Also, 1979, Nosferatu the Vampire.
Love that one as well.
We've done it. We did it. Mm-hmm. Mark Anastasio from Coolidge Corner did a whole bunch of really funny Werner Herzog impressions.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, Driller Killer came out in 1979.
We haven't done it, but I suppose we could. It's not a good movie.
I think we really should. That's one of those movies that, because of the video store experience, it lives very largely in a lot of people's imaginations. It's not very good, though.
No, and I think because the name is so provocative.
And the box art was fucking something.
Because it's not quite what you think it's going to be. It is in a way, but it's a little bit like that movie Cannibal Man. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
Eloy Glacier movie. It does involve a guy he's not a cannibal, but he does murder people, but it's about more than that. And it's kind of like Driller Killer is just about this guy kind of decompensating.
Yeah.
He does kill people, but that's sort of secondary to everything else that happens in the movie.
It's being Abel Ferrara at a time when he had to make a very bloody movie in order to get something sold.
But he did, I think, find his voice, so to speak, and because it is grimy as hell.
Oh God, yes, it is. That's a dude that he fucking loves that part of New York City, the Lower East Side, parts of Brooklyn before they were gentrified.
That's his, he sowed his wild oats there.
That's his thing, and I love him for it.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a director here to talk about.
Yeah,
Sir Ridley Scott.
Heard of him?
One of the greatest filmmakers of the modern age. Scott is one of the rare occasions of a filmmaker who comes in from the shortest to short medium, television commercials, and find his true home in features. Scott is at his best when working alongside writers with a strong vision, evidenced in this movie and his follow-up Blade Runner. He has an extremely strong visual style, man practically having a fetish for the Pandavision anamorphic lens. In the case of Alien, his primary creative input for the project was to turn the main location, the Nostromo, into a creaking, rusty hulk, a haunted castle drifting through space, where O'Bannon's original vision for the ship was something a little closer to Star Trek.
O'Bannon's version of this movie would have sucked. I think we just have to be honest.
The
man is not a director.
I have a real soft spot for Dan O'Bannon. I love his fucking vision. I think that if he were, I'll talk about Dan in a minute, but if he were,
he's a complicated
if
figure.
he were less of a prickly, abrasive, coarse human being, he probably could have been. We probably would have been talking with him about him in the same sort of breathless tones that we talk about John Carpenter. They had very similar visions. They came from the same sort of.
I will argue though this, but I know we haven't gotten to him yet. But I'm going to defend John Carpenter right now. One of the reasons that John Carpenter was able to achieve the things he achieved, it's not just because he's talented. It's because he is a very good leader.
Yeah.
And he's a very good leader because he has very good interpersonal skills. People like him. The reason Dan O'Bannon could never actually get anything done is because he had a shit personality. Yeah. And that's half the fucking battle. Yeah. Talent's only going to take you so far.
Yeah. So you can see some of this vision in the presentation of the ship's computer interface Mother, opposed to Scott's designs of the inner workings of the starship draped in chains and having it constantly be raining inside. People asked him, producers who came in, because apparently there was 9 producers on set of this movie all the time, constantly fucking meddling. They were like, hey Ridley, why is it raining inside the spaceship? And he was like,
get out of here. You're bothering me.
Basically, he was like, because it's fucking cool.
I will say they probably had a good reason to keep showing up because he kept going to them every 10 days and being like, you need some more money. Do you have any more money?
You got a little more of that money laying around? Yep. So he does it again in Blade Runner, really understanding the cyberpunk aesthetic of high tech and low culture. Comes back to Alien 30-something years later in the prequels, Prometheus and Covenant, 2 very fine but ultimately unnecessary movies.
Yeah.
And as of this recording, he's hard at work at an adaptation of the Peter Heller novel The Dog Stars, which is a fucking great book.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's also kind of stepped out from that stuff sometimes. So, he did Thelma and Louise.
Yeah.
Which is a great movie.
Because he came in, when he came into this, they were like, Ridley Scott, here's a movie called Star Beast. And he was like, yeah, I don't really do sci-fi. And they were like,
that also sounds real fucking dumb.
Yeah. And then they were like, I think you would like to have a look at this. And then he met Dan O'Bannon, and they kind of, as much of a problem child O'Bannon is, the two of them seem to really hit it off and understand one another.
I think they respected each other, but it sounds like Ridley Scott did not like him very much because he was such a pain in the ass.
Yeah. But it is that Ridley Scott's creative input, the look of this movie, this would not have been the movie that it is if it was just Dan O'Bannon doing it. Because originally, when he was shopping it around, his intention was to direct it.
Yeah.
And so
nobody wanted that.
Nobody wanted that. Because he was still, we'll talk about this actually, because he was kind of butthurt over the way that Dark Star.
But I think that describes Dan O'Bannon perfectly. Yeah. Is that every single thing that ever happened to him that was even slightly bad, he carried that with him everywhere he went and behaved as such. And that is what made him
entitled. He was so entitled.
Well, I don't know if you want to get into him now or what, but he had an unmedicated mental illness, and it just shaped everything he did. It made him completely miserable.
Yeah. So, Dan O'Bannon, who was the writer, whom we covered way back in the day in our Return of the Living Dead episode.
I think it's fair to say he's one of the writers, because it sounds like Walter Hill did a lot more than he probably should have.
Well, yeah, Walter Hill and Ridley Scott added some shit to it.
And Ron Shusett did as well.
He came in with basically a good place to sort of start the movie from, but it needed a lot of work
because it sounded like a Corman movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is why Corman was the only one who wanted it.
So, O'Bannon was a classic weirdo, the likes of which only the United States is capable of producing for reasons I'll never really get my mind around. He grew up in the middle of nowhere, Missouri, son to a physically abusive mother who provided him with great works of literature through a sort of mail-away book program, and a father who ran a roadside attraction called Odd Acres.
Love it.
Yeah, if you've ever watched the show Gravity Falls, the Mystery Shack, that's Dan O'Bannon's dad.
Oh, I've never seen that show.
I recommend it. It's a very
It's a
funny
children's show?
Yeah, it's by Disney. It's incredibly fucking funny.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a sort of Ripley's Believe It or Not kind of thing. Science fiction was treated as contraband in his house. He was a prickly, messy individual with a crazy imagination and a deep love of monster movies. Though directors tend to get all the love in the world of film, there is no Alien without O'Bannon, who was reeling from the misfortune of falling under the spell of Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Whew.
Oh, boy.
Y'all, if you haven't seen that documentary about Jodorowsky's Dune, please watch it. It explains a lot about this movie.
Yeah. And
it also is remarkable because all of those people walked away shattered.
Except for Jodorowsky. He was just like, see ya, I'm going to go do this thing.
And Orson Welles.
Like Orson Welles
like,
now.
Thanks for the good times, everybody.
Yeah, he's like, okay, hey, sorry, everybody. All the money ran out. This movie's not getting made. I'm going to go teach tarot in Chile.
And they were all like, but Daddy, no.
Yeah, and then Dan O'Bannon's like, but motherfucker, I sold all my shit and moved to France for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. And he recovered by combining a few ideas he had kicking around, intended to use for future projects. Suffering from Crohn's disease, which led to his death in 2009, O'Bannon seized on the pain he lived with for inspiration in the chest bursting scene.
He also, so his wife, I believe, has suggested that he was bipolar. He seems like he has a personality disorder.
Absolutely. Either that or, I mean, fuck, I don't want to be like an armchair psychiatrist or whatever, but I suspect he was kind of autistic too. Like just.
But he's also mean. He's
Sure.
not. It's not just that he has poor interpersonal skills. He's also mean to everybody. Like it was. They didn't like him because he was a jerk.
Sure. Yeah. But I mean, he just did not know how to also. Yeah. I mean, yeah, probably bipolar disorder as well, just because he was constantly feeling slighted. Nobody was listening to him, though.
Which is why I say personality disorder. They have a tendency to look the same. But
to be fair, Walter Hill and the entire like Brandywine producers were like, got wrapped up in this. And then
Walter Hill hated him from the start.
And then we're like, I don't really feel like doing this. I'm not confident that I can pull this off. Fuck this. I guess we'll just sort of see it out the door, get it to 20th Century Fox, put it in movies, and hopefully people see it. And then the movie kind of turned into a bit
because Walter Hill was supposed to direct it. We didn't say that part.
Yeah, and then it kind of turned into a hit over the years, and those guys kind of stepped back into the light. They were like, oh yeah, like we had everything to do with that. We love this. We were faithful from the start. It's like, no, you guys fucking weren't.
But
so
in Walter Hill's defense, he was the reason why this didn't go to Roger Corman, because they did initially take it to Corman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he was the only one that was interested, because everyone else was like, this sounds like it's going to be too expensive and way too violent to put on the screen. And so he was like, fuck it. It seems interesting and awesome. I'll give it a go. He eventually didn't, but he's the one that was like, but I do think there's going to be a good movie here.
Yeah.
20th Century Fox,
I'll get to the Corman connection, because it was actually a really sort of nice move by Corman. Because like
a rarity.
He was like an insurance policy for this movie at one time. Mm-hmm. So our cast includes Susan Weaver.
That's fucking cool as hell.
Sigourney If You're Nasty.
That's right.
In her first leading role.
Working Girl, that was the one I was thinking of earlier. Not A Fish Called Wanda.
Right. Listeners are gonna have no idea what you're talking about.
That's fine.
Hey, you're
Get on board.
Listen, you're gonna have to listen to Are You Laughing in the Dark.
We're creating a whole fucking universe here.
Yeah.
All right.
Get on it. Why are you not listening to that show?
Jesus.
God damn it. I'm very disappointed in you guys. I'm not. Just listen to it. It's funny.
There is no Dana. There is only Zuhu.
Yeah. So the part was originally intended for Weaver's classmate Meryl Streep, which I just cannot see.
Yeah, I don't see it working. It's too, even though this is not an action movie per se, it's too actiony for someone like Meryl Streep.
Right, because I mean, yeah, I cannot see her toward the end like running back and forth from the shuttle to the bridge and like, you know, carrying a flamethrower around and shit.
Because what's she doing around Silkwood? No, that's Cher. No, she isn't that.
She's in Silkwood.
Around
I think she was doing
right?
Silkwood right around this time, as a matter of fact.
I read it. She didn't end up doing it because John Cazale died, and she was like too devastated. She was her boyfriend, too devastated.
Yeah. So after that, Helen Mirren and Veronica Cartwright also auditioned, but it went to Weaver after a series of excellent auditions and screen tests. A lot of this, when they did this stuff, was improvised.
Wild.
Yeah. And so she just came in and just like gave them Ellen Ripley, and they were like, fuck yeah.
I will also say Veronica Cartwright, much as I like her, she plays the same fucking character in every movie. So from The Birds to The X-Files, same character.
In this, I was thinking about this because she was a little pissed because she thought that because she read for this and thought that she had it, and then they sort of passed her off to Lambert, who is basically the same character she played a year prior in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This just like
a little bit less whimpering and screaming,
shattered,
but not much.
Emotionally fragile. She spends most of her time just like freaking out. So when she read the Lambert part, she was like, "Fuck again." But yeah, then I think about her in The Birds. I mean, she was like fucking 12 years old in The Birds, but yeah. So of the entire cast, she was the last to fall into place and left a massive impact on the sci-fi and horror with this role. Ellen Ripley, off the back of Weaver's extraordinary performance, goes down in history as one of the greatest, dare I say, final girls in the history of horror, and then comes back to be an action star in the sequel.
Well, dollar signs,
Yep.
Changed the whole game.
Yep. We've also got Yaphet Kotto. Began work on stage in New York as a member of the Actors Studio. His early career was spent on TV doing westerns like Bonanza, Gunsmoke, and The Big Valley. Seems weird for Yaphet Kotto.
Oh, yeah. I hate to say it. He probably played an Indian.
Maybe.
I mean, it's my guess.
But it's turned across 110th Street with Gloria Hendry, last seen on 99 Cent Rental and Black Belt Jones.
Fucking awesome movie.
Yeah.
Across 110th Street is a killer movie.
It's a really fucking good crime movie.
And I think he got that. I think he did he do Bone before that or after?
I think he did it before that because the next movie that he gets is the one that lands him this one. And that's
so I think he gets into these in large part because he's a great actor, but also because of Larry Cohen.
And also he had a role as Idi Amin Dada in the Charles Bronson made-for-TV movie Raid on Entebbe. About that time, Israeli special forces stormed the airport in Entebbe, Uganda, to rescue a plane loaded with Israeli hostages. That led to a big Bond villain role in the first Roger Moore Bond movie, Live and Let Die. And then from there, he's in this. And then he does a fucking ton of TV. I think he was in Homicide: Life on the Streets as well.
Yep. Yeah. He's a great actor.
Fucking fantastic actor. He's one of those guys, like another one of those actors that like when Yaphet Kotto shows up, I'm like, fucking A. I love that guy. And rounding it out, Ian Holm Cuthbert.
Ian Holm is straight up terrifying in this movie.
He is a nightmare, and that's why
the guy is also a really, really good actor.
Yeah,
but he embodies this in a way that is very frightening.
Dude understood the assignment in this one, and I think that is so good because a lot of people kind of feel like this whole subplot is really, really unnecessary, but I very strongly disagree.
I think it's critical to the whole story.
Because of particularly where it goes from here.
Yeah.
Is like
they're able to do more with it, but like I think this one alone he's integral to this story.
Yeah. He is likely best known for playing Bilbo Baggins in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings movies, but this is just one of many extremely notable roles in a long career, including Terry Gilliam's Brazil and The Fifth Element, just to name a couple. Seriously,
Chariots of Fire.
Chariots of Fire.
He's in Strangers with Candy.
He's in Strangers with Candy. Yeah, look up his resume. That guy was in a lot of shit. He's so fucking good. The character he plays in this movie, the sneaky android Ash, was not a part of the original script. For all of O'Bannon's vision, none of the larger alien universe that goes on to play a much larger role in the sequels and prequels were a part of that vision and were added by Walter Hill to throw a twist and a little action into a rather sagging second act. Ash introduces the subplot about the company Weyland-Yutani, which I don't think is actually named by.
They just call it the corporation.
The company, yeah. And their plot to sort of bring a living alien specimen back to Earth. And this is to say nothing of the rest of the cast, which is a bunch of fucking hitters. Tom Skerritt, Veronica Cartwright, Harry Dean Stanton, and John fucking Hurt. Yeah.
Nailing it. I mean, they're all pretty early on in their careers.
They are, which I thought was really surprising because, like,
they're all looking good too.
Yeah, yeah. And then lastly, Balaji Bajajo as the alien.
Get it?
I believe I said his name right.
Nailed it.
Yeah. 6'10" and very skinny, he was discovered in a bar in London by Ridley Scott's casting department. This is his only acting credit. Following the rap, he returned to Lagos, where he worked as a graphic designer and owned an art gallery. And for one credit, this guy left quite a legacy as one of the most terrifying movie creatures of all time. They sent him to Tai Chi classes and taught him mime so he could learn to move more slowly and deliberately in the suit. And then until they found Badejo, the original actor they had their eyes on to get in the suit was Peter Mayhew, who was best known for playing Chewbacca.
I will say, so the original plan was to do
puppets,
puppets and animatronics.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been okay. I don't think it would have had the same impact or the same legacy. It needs to move like a real thing.
Yeah, like they use puppets and shit in Aliens because they needed more aliens. That's the whole fucking thing. It's plural. But in this one, you never really, until the very end of the movie, you do not, and very purposely, you don't get a very good look at him. And so
for a good reason.
Yeah,
too.
for a good reason.
I think if you did, because you do at the very end start to see pieces of him, and you're sort of like, what? That's kind of silly looking.
I don't know. It's
the arm that I have a problem with.
But yeah,
I think it would have been okay, but it would not have been the same movie. It had to move like it was an organic animal.
They had to move like a man because it was sort of like patterned after a human.
But he also didn't want it to be a man. He doesn't want it to look too much like a man. So it's sort of like, what's the in between? You can't be a person but not a person. And yet he seemed to find that happy medium.
Yeah. According to Sigourney Weaver, when she read the script like the first time, as she was like preparing for the role, the creature is not described very well in the pages because all of that shit was happening in H.R. Giger's workshop.
Mm-hmm.
And so her vision, the way that she sort of like saw the alien chasing her around the ship, was a big yellow blob.
Okay. It's very Langoliers.
Yeah, it's true. So we got one tagline, and it is one of the greatest,
only one that matters.
Well, one of the greatest of all time, and it is: in space, no one can hear you scream.
In space, no one can eat ice cream.
So the deep origins of Alien lie in two places. A script O'Bannon wrote in the 60s called They Bite, about a cicada-like monster that emerges from the ground and kills a bunch of victims one by one. And the second place is an EC comic, an issue of Weird Science called Seeds of Jupiter, in which Navy men on an aircraft carrier recover a strange container of seeds from the sea and trick one of their idiot guys into putting one in his mouth, and then he accidentally swallows it, and later an alien explodes out of him.
Out of his butt.
Out of his ice cream portal.
It's also, I believe, heavily influenced by Planet of the Vampires.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So here's a little bit more. So it's truly set into motion in 1974 when he and John Carpenter had a falling out over director credits for Dark Star. Dark Star is ultimately...
Who would want to claim that movie?
Well, I know. We've seen it. I watched it not that long ago, and it is objectively...
It's terrible.
Crappy. Like, it's so
terrible.
Shitty. It's so shitty. But... the thing about it that was when it came out and it screened, a lot of people, mostly industry players, looked at it and went, a fucking couple of students made this movie and like they were amazed by it.
Like, yeah, but did you miss the part where it took them 15 years to do it?
Did you see the beach ball alien? Like that whole thing? But also Dan O'Bannon's really fucking good in it. Like as an actor, he is. But like, yeah, the thing about Dark Star that made everybody sort of feel like they wanted to sort of claim ownership over it was mostly because there was a very positive industry reaction to it. And it opened a lot of doors for them. Like Carpenter's entire career is launched off the back of that crappy movie. So Dark Star is ultimately a sci-fi comedy about blue-collar astronauts carrying out a grim duty to destroy entire planets as mankind reaches out across space. It's cheap, it's arguably funny, and the beach ball alien really bothered O'Bannon. So he shared creative outcomes with Carpenter, had a vision for something much closer to the sci-fi horror movies that he loved as a kid, set about writing another horror movie set on a spaceship crewed by blue-collar space truckers, for lack of a better term. But disillusion.
I think the space truckers part of this movie is one of the more interesting and underexplored parts.
So since then, and it is a part that in recent years I've become very, very interested in, mostly, and there's a little note below, but I'll just say it now. There's a really, really fucking awesome role-playing game by a company called Free League that is Alien. And it's licensed, it's the real thing, but they really lean into the working class element of it. Like you do not play you could play a fucking, a space marine, but they're just as squishy and shitty as they are in Aliens. But most of the people are just like desperate, poor people in space. I
just want to be Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah. They're those guys. They're science officers, they're navigators.
Because one of the reasons they all go along with this is that if they don't
get paid.
They won't get paid.
Yeah. And there's this whole suggestion that there's this massive company on Earth that is hiring them, contracting them to do this. And like what is just kind of intimated and suggested is that they're putting their lives on hold for years to just drift in space in hibernation.
Yeah, it's exploitation for sure.
Yeah, it's like it's blue collar shit, and I fucking love it.
I guess they kind of do that in the last one.
Yes. Yeah, like they've since explored it a great deal. Unfortunately, the last one's not very good. I think the prequels are okay. Like we were talking about this in the Discord the other night. Like they're fine movies. Fine. I've seen them all, but I don't remember anything about them.
They're convoluted. They're both really convoluted, and they're both really dark.
Yeah.
Like visually very dark. And so it's like you want, if you're going for the story is muddy as hell.
Yeah.
And because it's all apocryphal stuff. And then if you're going for the kind of excitement in the action, it's really hard to see the excitement in the action, which sucks because like you finally have the budget and the technology to pull this off, and you're still not doing it.
And this is such a slippery series for me because this movie's one of my favorite.
I kind of love them all except for the third one.
Aliens is fucking like one of the greatest action movies ever made. I think Alien.
It's dumb as hell, but it is great.
Oh, it's so fucking fantastic and just outrageous and bombastic. I do not like Alien 3, but I've also never seen David Fincher's version of it.
It's not so you can, I don't know if you can see the whole thing. Can you?
I think you can. I think there is a version. Trevor,
because it's okay. Then it's in the box. Well, not I have a collection that has it in it. Then and that's the one I've seen. It's not much better.
Okay.
It's less. It's less Hollywoody.
Yeah, I do appreciate the fact that like every sequel they try to do something different with it. Because they could have very easily made another action movie.
Unfortunately, they put her in a prison full of men, and so what they're gonna fall back on all the time.
And then I don't really remember Alien Resurrection very well.
That one sucks.
But I love Jeunet as a director, but I think he was the wrong guy for that project.
Yeah. Because even he doesn't seem to know what he's doing. He doesn't seem to know what kind of movie he's making.
And he's coming in off the back of City of Lost
He's kind
Children.
of just you call sci-fi.
Science fiction.
How you say sci-fi?
And then there's the Alien vs Predator movies, which I think are fucking dog shit.
Hey, I like those. I like them in the same way that I like Resident Evil. They're so fucking stupid.
God, we've got to explore those because that is a very curious corner of your personality that I think is very interesting.
What, the big budget garbage?
Yeah. So yeah, disillusioned with Hollywood following Dark Star, O'Bannon meets up with Alejandro Jodorowsky, an enthusiastic filmmaking Svengali who loved Dark Star and recognized O'Bannon's creativity. He was in the early stages of adapting Frank Herbert's sci-fi epic Dune, which we'd mentioned. See that documentary. It's crazy.
Here's my theory about this, because all of the people that worked on this, the documentary is quite good, and they go into a lot of detail about how everybody was so committed to making this version of Dune. Like they saw his vision for it. They were so fucking pumped. They were super on board. When it falls apart, most people are pretty heartbroken because they do invest a lot into it. But, they move on. They go do other stuff. Dan O'Bannon was shattered by it. And I think my theory with that is that O'Bannon struggled for so long. I mean, arguably struggled his entire life. But up to this point, that I think Jodorowsky saw him and was like, yeah, you seem to have a lot of talent. Like, he was really validating in a way that nobody else had probably ever been.
Yes, he was.
And so he really imprinted onto him. And so when it all fell apart, he was like, okay, we'll see you guys. And he was like, but no, wait.
Yeah.
I have to go with you.
Yeah, like finally somebody recognizes my vision, like that sort
and
of
like
thing.
Jodorowsky was extremely weird, and so he probably saw a lot of himself in him. And
Also,
it was like, it just is like second parenting in a way that was super unhealthy.
Yeah. Also at that time, Jodorowsky was a humongous narcissist.
Yeah.
And oh my God.
I mean, at that time, in his whole life, actually.
Well, I remember like years and years ago, like when I first discovered El Topo, I was like it was the Holy Mountain that really sort of fascinated me. And I became...
Because Holy Mountain is weird.
Weird as hell. And so I looked up everything I could find about him, which was very hard at the time. Like, this is 90s internet. And he is not the sort of like the well-known kind of quantity that he is these days. Then he was still very, very niche. And I read all of these interviews that were carried out with him around the time he made Fondo Elise, and then he made El Topo. And like, he is into himself. Like, and hey, it says some really fucking shady shit about women. And then,
oh yeah, no, he was super misogynistic. Like, there's a reason why he kept putting his kids in his movies, because it's like, you are me.
Yeah, and then
you are an extension of me.
In more recent years, like in the last 20 or so years, I have read interviews where he has reflected on that time and been very regretful.
It's sort of like Andy Kaufman. When Andy Kaufman was dying, he was like, "Oh, I wasted my life being an asshole. No,
I thought I had more time.
Thought I could make up for this."
Yeah. So, he was, where was I? Oh, his enthusiasm was undeniable, and Jodorowsky was putting together a crazy-ass dream team of creatives. It was hard not to get swept away by the excitement. O'Bannon bet everything he had on this movie, moved to a hotel room in France, and got to work writing Dune. Also, he did not speak French.
Which only would have made him more isolated.
Yeah. So when the money ran out and Jodorowsky fucked off to whatever he did after that, O'Bannon limped back to Los Angeles and crashed on Ron Schusett's couch, hacking out the script for something called Memory, while also sort of developing Total Recall, like the earliest drafts of what eventually becomes Total Recall.
I think Shusett takes that over.
Yes.
Because he ultimately writes the script for it.
But yeah, so he makes something called Memory, which is effectively the first hour of Alien, except that the central conflict was that the alien planet was causing the ship's crew to lose their memories, which I think
that's Planet
is
of the
quality
Vampire.
of Planet of the Vampires. So artist and creature design by Hans Rudy Giger, but you can call him HR, originated with Dune. Jodorowsky attended an exhibition of Giger's work at a Paris art gallery and was understandably captured by it. There is nothing else like it. No artist in the world is even remotely like him. Everything is either a penis or a vagina with this guy, but in a way that's really threatening. O'Bannon worked closely with Giger.
You know, the way everybody likes it.
Is that vagina going to kill me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. O'Bannon worked closely with Giger, who was hired to design everything in the movie related to the villainous Harkonnens, while Jean Moebius Giraud handled everything related to the Atreides. By the mid,
you can see all of this art. You see the art in the documentary, a lot of it in the documentary, but there's a book too, because they storyboarded all of Dune, the original one. Now, apparently there are only like 5 of them in the world. And so that exists, and you can see all of his original sketches for it. It is bananas.
Yeah, the Giger stuff is fucking outstanding. I love the Moebius. I'm a big fan of Moebius's art anyways, and his stuff for Dune is just amazing. So by the mid-'70s, O'Bannon's script, aided by suggestions from Ron Shusett, moved away from the memory story and toward the monster movie that we get today under the title Star Beast. Took the script to Roger Corman.
I'm sorry, you want to tell me a guy who named something Star Beast is really talented?
He took the script to Roger Corman, whose instincts told him that this was something much bigger than he could produce in the typical New World budget. But he agreed to buy it if O'Bannon couldn't sell it to a much bigger production company. And I believe he was the one who put them in touch with Brandywine. Yeah. So the bigger studio came in the form of Brandywine, founded by Walter Hill, in association with 20th Century Fox, who also distributed Star Wars, and were looking for their next big sci-fi movie. O'Bannon.
See, I'm going to say this. I think here's what where I'm at with Dan O'Bannon. I think there's a reason why all these people keep looking at his stuff and thinking there's something here. It's just that he can never get it to the end.
Yeah.
It always seems to require other people. Then, most.
He was definitely not a guy who was going to sort of pull a movie together by himself. He was
right. John Carpenter needed Deborah Hill to really get shit over the finish line. I think all the great stuff usually requires other people, whether or not they want to admit it. He seems like particularly one of those people who you can get it. He's got good core ideas. He just can't seem to execute them on his own. They require other people to kind of punch them up.
Yeah. And the problem being he has a hard time with other people.
Right. He can't accept anyone else's input at all.
Yeah. So O'Bannon originally comes in under the impression that he would direct, but a big part of the deal with Brandywine was that Hill, who had never done sci-fi nor had any interest or respect for it, would direct. So O'Bannon came in with his own drawings and an outline to pitch, which immediately hooked Brandywine and got Hill pumped to direct. But then he
also, fuck you, Walter Hill. I would argue that Streets of Fire is kind of a sci-fi movie.
We've talked about that in the episode where a lot of people kind of regard it as a piece of cyberpunk.
And it has a vibe.
It's kind of there for sure. Yeah. But yeah, his stuff, but Hill has his own thing, tough guy shit, kind of throwbacks, a lot of,
which is the last thing you'd think I would love. And yet here we are.
But when he read the Starbeast script, he balked and fucked off to make The Warriors, calling the script the worst thing he'd ever read. To make matters worse, O'Bannon commissioned paintings from Giger based on his own sketches of the xenomorph, the alien ship, etc. And upon seeing them, Fox fired him immediately, utterly disgusted by what Giger had submitted. And finally, in a truly Hollywood move, Hill, who had very little faith and interest in this project, jumped back into the picture and took tremendous amount of credit for the movie and minimized O'Bannon's role in the project, but only after the movie was reappraised as a sort of classic of cinema.
But again, we have to recognize that he is probably the reason why it got made. Because, he didn't have a ton of clout, but he had some.
Yeah.
And nobody else attached to it had really had any.
Not true. So without a director, Fox put the feelers out for hot directors of the time and landed on John Borman, coming in hot off the back.
John Borman.
Hot off the back of the incredibly weird and stupid Zardoz. And
speaking of John Borman, that... in case anyone is curious, that Borman and the Devil documentary is finally coming out.
Oh, okay.
The one about the second Exorcist movie, it finally got picked up. I think Yellow Veil is distributing it.
Yeah. So, and then when he was ultimately rejected by Brandywine, he fucked off to make The Exorcist 2. What a consolation prize. There was also Robert Altman, who was still eating off the success of MASH. He was considered, but Brandywine...
would have been a nightmare.
So there is some stuff I've seen you can find them on YouTube. There are side-by-side scene comparisons of scenes from MASH with scenes from Alien. It's mostly the stuff that takes place in the ship's kitchen where they're all sort of interacting at the same time. And
that's Robert Altman's strength is these kind of ensemble character studies.
Yeah, but again, I think 20th Century Fox is just a humongous fucking movie studio that does not know sci-fi, but they know successful filmmakers. And so they were
and these are all hot young people at this point.
And so there were a bunch of others, but Brandywine and O'Bannon thought that he would just treat the material like a B movie. So he was released and made 3 women instead. So there's that.
It's a very good film.
Yeah. Steven Spielberg was also considered, being that the script readers kept describing the movie as Jaws in space, but he was on the hook for the first big miss of his career, 1941.
Boo.
What a fucking whiff that movie is.
I think that the Steven Spielberg version of this would have been interesting. I don't think it would have been as thrilling.
I don't think it would have been the movie that it is. It probably would have been good in its own way,
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard because none of the characters in this are particularly likable.
Yeah.
Ripley is, but that's about it. And his movies rely on sort of charming, quirky people.
Yeah, right. But at the same time, he was well known around these studios to be chomping at the bit to make an alien horror movie.
That's true. Yeah.
No. So Walter Hill suggested Ridley Scott, whose film The Duelists had just come out. His first feature since making the jump from advertisements. Scott, not a science fiction guy at all, was skeptical, but he and O'Bannon really connected and worked on storyboards together, came to a serious understanding of the project. Scott's storyboards were so strong that upon seeing them, Fox doubled the budget to $10 million. O'Bannon then brought out the Giger art book Necronomicon, and Scott was so fucking knocked over by the ghastly imagery that he was fully locked in and managed to get 20th Century Fox to bring Giger back.
Can you imagine that they must have just been like, oh, the penis guy? God damn it. Fine.
Oh, the vagina looks like it's going to eat you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Giger made the original suit sculpt in Switzerland and was also sending paintings of the monster designs to Hollywood from his studio.
Did Carlo Rambaldi have anything to do
Carlo
with this?
Rambaldi made the mechanical head that the little tiny mouth comes out of.
Yeah, eat with my little mouth.
U.S. Customs were seizing the face hunger paintings upon entry into the United States on obscenity.
Listen.
Yep.
I can't with this country anymore. And you're thinking, but this is 1979. No. They do it. They do it now.
Well, here's the thing. This is not the first time, not the last time a Giger painting would end up in legal trouble. In 1985, Jello Biafra included Landscape XX. Go ahead and look that one up.
Is that on a Lard album?
It's on Frankenchrist.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, don't look it up at work, okay? Included that as an insert with the Dead Kennedys album, Frankenchrist. And it landed them in court over obscenity charges as well. At the same time, Giger was set to work with special effects artist Roger Dicken, who was something of a well-known jerk. Dicken, who worked on a lot of
Roger Dicken was also like kind of an old school guy.
Yes, because he came in from Hammer. He was making Hammer movies because all of this was being produced in England.
So not only does he not understand what they're making, he's also probably pretty dismissive of it, probably thinks it's degenerate bullshit, and also just doesn't like his style is so hacky.
Yeah, in the initial like meetings with Ridley Scott described like sort of verbally described to him, like, just, this is just like dinner, talking it out, seeing if this is the guy. And he's describing the verbally describing the shit that H.R. Giger is painting and sculpting and shit. And this guy is like, no. Your alien should be beautiful. And they're like, fuck. And so they get Giger to come to England and meet with him, and he shows Dicken his work, and Roger Dicken is like, this is a fucking abomination. How dare you? You are a sick man, Hans Rudy Giger.
It's like every person on this movie was a total asshole.
It really is.
Because Giger's also a famously cantankerous person.
Because then Giger was like, how fucking dare you? Who the fuck are you, Roger Dicken? And he left there, and he was like, I'm not working with this guy. He is not making my creatures. I will do all of this myself to ensure that, my vision is represented. And they
said, but sir, you're a painter.
And a sculptor,
and he was
apparently.
Like, well, now I am a fabricator.
Yeah, it's like, how fucking dare you? Mm-hmm. I will show you all. No, he was also a sculptor, but but the thing is the clock was ticking. They needed everybody to start getting this shit together. So they were like, okay, you make the fucking xenomorph suit. He's going to make the face hugger. It's fine. And then Carlo Rambaldi, he did all the mechanical effects.
It's like, buongiorno.
Yeah. I was just working with Lucio Fulci.
And he also goes on to make E.T.
E.T. Fucking well-rounded special effects guy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Dicken. The thing with Dicken though is that he wasn't extremely. He wasn't like all trash and camp and shit. He also did all the models and like miniatures for 2001.
Yeah,
which
is why I think he ends up working on this movie. 20th Century kept throwing people at them that they were like, here are in-house people, and every time they were sort of like, this is not what we're looking for.
Very meddlesome production company, yeah.
And they would sort of push back, and I think there was probably a point at which Fox was like, you know what? Enough. Either make this movie or fuck off.
Yeah.
And they were like, fine. We'll go with Jerry Goldsmith, I guess. Because Jerry Goldsmith was also like, what is everybody's fucking problem? I'm just trying to score your fucking movie, man.
Yeah, because Ridley Scott kept hearing the stuff that he was turning over, and he's like, this is fucking bullshit, man. What is with these lush arrangements? This should all just be like quiet, minimalist stuff. And he's not wrong, because I think the soundtrack to this movie is very, very good.
When it works.
It's quiet when it needs to be. At the end, when the ship's going nuts, it's big, and it really sort of carries the message of suspense. I think it's
I have the full Mondo put out the full score, like it's a 5 record set
of
the entire score. And when you listen to it beginning to end, it It works.
Yeah.
It's just that it took him a while to understand what they were doing because nobody had made anything like this.
No, the 4K comes.
They were probably like, like Star Wars. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah, you want me to rip off John Williams? Cool.
Yeah.
Why not? John Williams has been ripping off John Williams for years.
The 4K comes with an isolated score track that I put on every once in a while just to have his background sound. It's pretty good.
I think he just didn't understand what they wanted from him, and they were bad at trying to explain it, because that guy has made everything. Like, he has done everything. In my opinion, he is the greatest American, Bernard Herrmann, but maybe the second greatest American composer.
He's so fucking dynamic. Whatever you need, he can do. Like, when you go to John Williams, you go to John Williams because you want a John Williams score. When you go to Bernard Herrmann, you want a Bernard Herrmann score. When you go to Jerry Goldsmith, you want something that matches the sort of theme and mood of your movie. And I think that
he's got his own style too, and you can pretty much pick it out.
Yeah.
But he's not like Herman or Williams. But like, they do eventually get something out of him. But he seemed like the only one that was like, why is nobody telling me what they want?
Yeah, and then Ridley on stage, as they were producing this stuff, like, so much of this movie is shot handheld. A lot of the camera is constantly in motion. Which
a lot of running,
a lot of panning and zooming and shit. It's fucking fantastic. But yeah, also Ridley Scott did that fucking annoying shit that like auteurs do, where he's constantly like needling his actors to like, hey, Avocado, go over there and be really shitty to Sigourney Weaver, so that when we shoot that scene where you and Brett are being assholes with the steam tunnel, she's like really good. It's like completely forgetting that he's hired actors to act.
Right, you hired them if you didn't want actors, you would just get normal people for way less money.
No, like ever since we did The Exorcist, and I had that,
you can hire actual truckers, and they would do the same thing for you.
Yeah, like ever since I heard that quote from Jason Miller, who was like pissed off that Friedkin kept doing all this crazy bullshit around to sort of like elicit responses, where he was like, "You hired me to act. Why are you acting like a fucking maniac?"
I told you, I can never remember who it was. The Lawrence of Arabia thing. It's acting, dear boy.
So the name Nostromo is taken from a novel by Joseph Conrad called Nostromo, A Tale of the Seaboard. It's an Italian word that means shipmate. The story is about a wealthy Italian expatriate in fictional South American nation. His influence among the locals is used to exploit the people and resources of this developing nation by wealthy Europeans.
It is no doubt racist as hell.
Probably. Yeah, Joseph Conrad, pretty progressive dude, not that progressive. There's a direct line from that story to this story, being that Wayland Yutani, who like I said, is never really mentioned by name in this movie, are using this ship and its crew to exploit a new and possibly very valuable resource recovered from a dead alien world. And because it's only a couple of years after Star Wars and toyetic is still a new concept, Kenner, who made an action figure out of every single character in Star Wars and couldn't keep the toys on shelves, opted to also license Alien, an R-rated horror movie seen by very few children.
It's the first time an R-rated film was licensed for toys.
Yeah. This resulted in the 18-inch posable Xenomorph toy, which is cool as hell.
It's also expensive as hell.
Yeah,
if you've ever looked one up, they're quite expensive.
Yeah. There is also what else was there? It features. Yeah, it's very detailed. Features the little mouth.
You could get the little figures too of like Ripley and Tom Skerritt. You get your little Tom Skerritt figure, your little Harry Dean Stanton figure. Super 7 reissued them maybe 10 years ago or so. You can get them. You can still find them for cheapish if you don't mind a more recent one.
Yeah. Kenner also produced a little cranked movie player. Children could put their eyes up to the viewer and turn the crank and watch the scene where Dallas encounters the alien in the air shaft and dies.
Which is a fucking terrifying moment. I actually jumped this time.
There's also a board game by Kenner, which goes for in excess of $1,000 whenever it hits eBay. That's what I got.
So there are a couple things I want to address. I think one of the things about this movie that's pretty interesting is the labor part of it. I think is pretty interesting, and there's not much more to say about that right now. But the gender dynamics in this are really kind of progressive for 1979. We have a character that is put, she is obviously the main character of the film, Ripley, and she is a pretty feminist character in that she is very autonomous. Mm-hmm. and she's pretty assertive when it comes to like her responsibilities and her role in the ship. And she's constantly in conflict with Dallas, who is this sort of like feckless, insecure hack. Like when he talks to men, he backs down every single time. And then he kind of takes it out on her, and he asserts himself with her. And it's these details that I think elevate this movie to something a little bit more than just a Star Wars ripoff or Jaws in space. Like you get a lot of good acting in this, and visually it's a pretty impressive movie. But there's all these kind of weird little elements in it. I mean, that's what allows it to, I think, be spun out into this larger universe that, spawns movies. This series is probably, in the franchise world, this series is probably the most inconsistent of anything I can think of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's just made, like, it tiers of film, and they're made by just wildly different people. But I find the gender part interesting, which leads me to that weird thing I told you I wanted to bring up earlier, is that in the sequel, we find out that Lambert and apparently Dallas as well are canonically trans characters.
Oh, I only knew about Lambert. I didn't know about...
So in the rundown, in the sequel, when they do this sort of rundown of what happened to all the people in the Nostromo, they're kind of going through the dossier. And in Lambert's dossier, it says, Despin convert at birth, male to female. And I guess it did the same thing with Dallas, and for some reason they cut it out of the final cut. These are like, they flash pretty quickly on the screen.
Yeah, it's just like bullshit text that's not meant to be read.
Yeah, this is deep lore. It could have said lorem ipsum for all it fucking mattered.
Yeah.
But it is odd that they would do this. Like, this aspect of the movie, it amounts to nothing ever. Like, doesn't ever matter. And it doesn't go anywhere, but it is weird to include that when you're not going to do anything with it.
Yeah.
It's a really odd thing. And I just think there's a lot of weird stuff in this film that maybe it comes from the fact that it's essentially being written by like 4 different people.
Yeah.
At various times and for various reasons. And so that's probably why a lot of this shit is in here. And then it doesn't end up going anywhere for whatever reason. I just think it's interesting that they do that, though, because they're essentially going to take all of the feminism in this movie. They're going to, in the next one, turn their back on it completely. And go the other direction in one of the most obnoxious characters in any film. So I think it's interesting. I wish there was more to say about it, but I do think it's fun to point out.
Yeah. So press reactions were weird to this movie.
They were mixed, pretty mixed, to be sure. So rumor has it that Alan Ladd Jr.'s wife, Alan Ladd Jr. was the president of Fox at the time, that after he and his wife went to see this movie, she refused to leave the house for a day. I was like, bitch, what do you think? There's going to be aliens out there?
There's going to be a big spiky alien just sneaking around, hiding in your garage.
Snatching your people up. But you know what? There you go. There's another, the Giger stuff is also very gendered.
Oh, God,
penile.
Yes. Yeah. It's always penises and vaginas.
I mean, the head of the alien in the original painting that it's based on, it's a dick.
It's a dick.
I'm glad they didn't do that for the movie. That would have been awkward. So I'm going to hit you with the Boston Globe, Michael Blowin.
Okay.
Alien is another triumph of technology over art. It is also a horror movie set in space, and it just doesn't work.
Huh.
Scott's narrative is completely derivative. The concoction might have worked in the hands of a superior filmmaker, but Scott hasn't quite mastered the craft. The extreme violence of the alien's revenge is gruesome rather than frightening, and the film's few moments of squeamish thrills are nothing more than cheap tricks from outer space.
You know...
Be better. Cheap trick in outer space.
Dream Police. Yeah, it's derivative, but like, who fucking cares? There's plenty of great movies that are also fucking derivative.
Well, like I think that's kind of what he's getting at. Is like, derivative isn't necessarily bad, but you have to have the chops to really make it work. And I think maybe they just didn't think at the time that he did.
Yeah, well, they're wrong.
I think this movie is visually, but also the shit you're pulling from is real bare bones stuff. Like, it's like this, these are shit put out by like RKO.
Yeah.
For drive-ins.
Because like there, some of the sort of specific movies that O'Bannon had named as like, you know, stuff that he was kind of pulling from was like real like B movie shit. Like Queen of Blood was one of them. Like Queen of Blood is a crappy fucking movie, but I think it's a really good crappy movie.
It's got that Harrington charm.
There's also Planet of the Vampires, which is Mario Bava at his weirdest.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I think that one's fucking fantastic as well. Like, but like, yeah, the Think from Another World, which, you know, John Carpenter also, you know, directly remakes, but like same sort of thing. Like the original movie, it's good, but it's not great.
No, it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Then again, I guess you could say this is too. I'm gonna tell you about Vinnie Canby.
All right.
From a little known news outlet called the New York Times.
Ah, the old gray lady.
They call her the Old Gray Lady. Alien is an extremely small, rather decent movie of its modest kind, set inside a large, extremely fancy physical production.
Shit, yeah.
I think that is a very apt description.
Yeah. I mean, it is objective in its statement.
It's an old-fashioned scare movie about something that is not only implacably evil, but prone to jumping out at you when you least expect it. Though Alien is not the seminal science fiction film one wants from Scott, it's executed with a good deal of no-nonsense verve. He pretty much likes it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Vincent Canby is not exactly a flowery writer. He's not this,
No.
You know, like when he likes something, it's obvious in a very flat sort of way.
Yeah, he doesn't turn a phrase in that Bensonian way. Los Angeles Times, Charles Champlin. Alien seems as certain as anything can be to become the new film phenomenon in succession to Jaws and Star Wars, even though its horrors are too convincingly visceral and its frights too successfully frightening for the movie to have a whole family outreach that Star Wars did. Not a frame of Alien is flat or casual or perfunctory. The visceral excitement is high. Even the calm opening sequence, there is a creepy feeling of lurking trouble, and as the suspense and dread escalate, the camera's power of premonition grows as well.
Ooh, all right. See, there's a little purple prose for you.
Mm-hmm. Talking about Gene Genie.
All right.
Thought.
All right.
Ultimately, it is film technology, as much as anything, that makes Alien something more than a routine shock show. Its monster is first a horrifying blob, then a vicious snake-like critter with teeth. But regardless of what shape the monster takes, Alien basically is a standard thriller about a bunch of people trapped in a haunted house with a monster on the loose. In sum, Alien is not worth getting oneself into a vomiting dither about, but it is an accomplished piece of scary entertainment.
Okay.
So he thought, that's okay.
You
know who really loved it, though? Roger Ebert.
Yeah, right. All right.
At its most fundamental level, Alien is a movie about things that can jump out of the dark and kill you. In another way, Ridley Scott's movie is a great original. One of the great strengths of Alien is its pacing. It takes its time. It waits. It allows silences.
That's my favorite thing about this movie, though.
Well,
yeah.
He's going to tell you why. It isn't the slashing that we enjoy. It's the waiting for the slashing. Alien vibrates with a dark and frightening intensity.
That's it. Like, yes, this movie, I got a little note that says how much time has passed before something really substantial happens in this movie.
You just sit around waiting for something to happen while all these people fuck with each other.
I love the wind up. This movie has a seriously long wind up, but I love that wind up.
You know who didn't love the wind up?
The IMDb.
The IMDb user.
These fucking degenerate weirdos. Give it to me.
Dumb characters. Did they really put this crew in charge of a spaceship outside the solar system? Short and sweet.
That's it. That's it.
Also, ends with a period, not a question mark. It's a declaration.
Oh, God. Fucking, that's a movie review assassin there.
There were way more one-star reviews on IMDb than I expected. Because this movie has very high sort of a Metascore.
Yeah,
it's like 8.7 or something like that.
Yeah, it's in the Library of Congress collection. So like, it is a culturally significant movie.
I mean, but so is a bunch of pornography. So.
That's culturally significant.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
That's true. So it's weird that there were that many 1-star reviews. There you have it.
Man, I wonder what Mike Johnson would think about porno being in the Library of Congress. Be pretty upset.
He would demand to see it. But let me prove it to me.
I must see it. I must judge this for myself. So
she does Dallas, you say. Well, I need to talk to Debbie's parents.
How deep in the throat are we saying? So shall we?
Yes.
All right. Now we open the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space. It's a little Tim Curry for you. Come on.
Yeah, it was good.
So the title design, as the word alien comes into view piece by piece, designed by Saul Bass.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I read a bunch of stuff that said it was, but it doesn't look like his style.
Oh, it's a very subtle Saul Bass, but I believe that it's Saul Bass.
Okay.
Yeah. A tiny little spaceship drifts into frame with a massive Gothic castle-like structure in tow. A title card informs us that this is the Nostromo, a towing vehicle, returning to Earth with a mineral refinery carrying millions of tons of ore.
And the Nostromo in 4K looks a little plasticky.
It's a little model-like. So we cut to the silent interior of the ship.
You see one of those little birds drinking from the glass?
Love them.
And I wrote, Lisa, in this house, we obey the laws of thermodynamics.
That's one. The camera tracks along the hallways of the ship that appears to be uncrewed. The bridge is empty. Suddenly, the computers rattle to life. The displays light up. Data prints out across the screen. Everything makes a nervous, chattering sound.
What I like about everything before everything kicks on, I like that it gives that like house where nobody lives vibe. Because as much as this gets described as a haunted house movie, it doesn't feel like a haunted house movie. A haunted house movie usually involves you're in an unfamiliar place. Sure. They all know every corner of this ship. But it does give that vibe of like nobody's home.
Yeah.
This place is vacant.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So the entire ship comes to life. Systems power up, lights throughout the vessel. Bulkhead opens on a dark room which lights up slowly, revealing a series of sealed pods containing the sleeping crew. They've been placed in hibernation due to the distance and time needed to cross the vast expanse of space with the refinery. Now, one by one they wake, peeling electrodes off of them, slowly coming back to consciousness after God knows how long they've been asleep. After a time, they gather in the kitchen to drink coffee, eat some food, and talk some shit. The ship's crew is thus: Dallas, captain of the Nostromo; Ripley as warrant officer; Lambert the navigator; the executive officer Kane; Ash the science officer; and Parker and Brett the ship's engineers. They've clearly been working together for a while. Parker would like to discuss the bonus situation upon docking.
They all seem to hate each other too.
The engineer guys are almost like second class to all of these. Like they exist in the bowels of the ship.
Yeah, they're like the two dudes in Day of the Dead.
Yes, they are.
And I wonder if they're also kind of those two characters are based on them. Because Harry Dean Stanton, they're all dressed in like, their jumpsuits or whatever. Harry Dean Stanton's wearing like a hat and like a flower shirt.
Yeah. So being that they were all roused from their hibernation, they're all under the impression that they're nearing Earth and the mission is over. Now, Parker and Brett, for reasons unknown, are not subjected to the same wages that the rest of the ship's crew is. Dallas is summoned by the ship's computer mother to brief him on the current mission orders. Alone, he enters the chamber containing the computer. Stark difference in location from the rest of the ship. Mother is clean and well lit by the banks of blinking lights.
All this fancy shit, and he's still got the world's tiniest computer screen.
It's so small. The screen lights up and Dallas receives the briefing. Out on the bridge, the crew gets seated at their stations for whatever happens next. Lambert looks at the star charts, not recognizing any of the stars on the scope. Ripley puts out a call to the Antarctica station, receiving no reply. And Lambert manages to identify the charts and realizes that they are nowhere near Earth. Dallas gathers them all in the kitchen to deliver the bad news. They're only halfway home. Mother woke the crew up to investigate a mysterious radio transmission it picked up as the ship moved through space.
I kind of feel like Mother should have worked all this shit out before waking everybody up.
I know, because like later on, it's like, hey, this might not be an SOS signal. This might be a warning, you guys. That would have been.
We do eventually find out that Mother did actually work it all out beforehand.
Yeah. So Parker and Brett remind the captain that this is not an exploration ship and that they should log it and then just keep going home. And Ash reminds them that there are regulations requiring all ships to investigate anomalies in space or forfeit their pay, which would suck since the trip out and back takes a little less than 4 years.
So they do something really cool in this scene where Parker, is it Parker? Is that his name?
Parker is Yaphet Kotto.
So he comes in and Ash is sitting in the chair and he like taps him and he's like, you're in my seat. And then Ashley's like, oh yeah. And he gets up and moves. And they're going to do this a lot. Now they don't seem to know that he's a android.
None of them know that he's a robot. And there's a very really little detail where, when he's very aloof the entire movie, and his behavior is really fucking suspect
because he's also not one of them.
Yeah, because
they've all been working together for a long time. He gets dumped on them at the very last minute.
Yeah, because they used to have just like a regular science officer that shipped out with them,
who wasn't a robot,
who was not a robot. So they plot a course to a small planetoid in the system and disengage the Nostromo from the refinery and descend into the planet's atmosphere. It's a rocky ride down, damaging the ship in the process. The ship's instruments project
hit the rocky road.
Rock over London, rock on Chicago. The ship's instruments also project onto their faces of the crew as they sit there. And I don't know if this is the first movie to do that, but other movies will do this from time to time. And I don't know why.
No, they do it in 2001.
Oh shit, you're right. So that must be why they're doing it in this.
He is yanking from that movie real hard a lot.
I fucking love that effect. It
looks very cool.
Yeah. The ship touches down and all the instruments on the bridge go nuts. Exploding sparks fly everywhere. The rocky surface of the planet has pierced to the hull, and it's going to take a while to fix this.
Now, I have a question. So they're going to go out and investigate the ship.
Yep.
The other one. The planet belongs to the xenomorphs, right?
No.
Don't think canonically. Think about just this movie.
So maybe,
because my understanding, obviously, later on they changed that whole part of it. My understanding is like the other ship crashed here.
Yes,
and because later he's like it's remarkably well adapted to this environment.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was they lived there.
Because he also, like, later on, when Ripley asks him, like, what have you found about this thing? He's like, this thing keeps shedding all of its cells and sort of readapting to the environment. So the xenomorph can just adapt to any environment. But I think it's safe to say, like, it's not really clear one way or the other, but I think it's safe to say, like, maybe the xenomorphs are native to this.
Because there should have been more, but then they would have been like, we can't afford more.
Well, there was a shitload of eggs.
That's true.
Yeah. So on the bridge, they hail whatever is putting out the signal they picked up, but they get no reply. And the source of the transmission is right nearby. They could walk to it. Dallas puts together an away team to get out there and have a look around. Unfortunately, the atmosphere is a nightmare of gas and storms. So they
do a very good job making it feel prehistoric.
Yeah.
Like the way it all looks, like not just the landscape, like the way like shit's just whipping around in the storm.
Yeah, it's very intense. So they head out while Ash watches the video feed on board the ship. And a thing that I feel like I really need to point out, like everybody's fucking seen this, you know it, but all of these are physical sets, and some of these are fucking huge. The struts of the Nostromo, like that thing, like you don't actually see the ship while they're walking past the struts. Those things are almost 60 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, it's very visually impressive, everything that they do.
Yeah. Ripley drops in on Brett and Parker in the guts of the ship. I love this scene, where she is once again bugged about their shares. Steam is flying from every duct, hissing louder than they can shout. She's clearly annoyed by this bullshit, but promises that they'll get their cut when they get back to Earth. And as soon as she walks away, Parker turns a valve and all the hissing steam stops. He was just being an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
So outside of the surface, the sun is rising, a distant light in a gaseous atmosphere. Storm has stopped, though, so that's good. The away team clears a rocky outcropping and spots the source of the transmission, a large two-pronged structure resting on a distant ridge. And that ship is ominous as hell when you first see it. It's so cool. As they reach it, what they find is a massive alien spaceship crashed on the surface of the planet. They enter the massive vaginal HR Giger ports on the side of the ship, and the video feed goes dead on once they get inside. So inside the ship is a sprawling series of organic tunnels which lead to a huge open chamber, and in the center lies a giant skeleton seated in a strange chair, what appears to be a scope pointed at the stars. And it's not
It is the coolest thing in the entire movie.
fucking awesome.
The space jockey, is that what it's called?
They call him the space jockey, yeah. Not clear how long it's been there, but it's clearly very old. Now
I love that they're just like, I don't know, it's just there. We're not going to explain it.
Nobody is terribly like
This thing is like 20 feet tall.
Nobody is terribly like, what the fuck are we looking at? Like, nobody's amazed by this. They're just like, huh, no, that's a dead alien.
And a giant one at that.
Yeah. Inside.
Also, the inside of the ship is it's really, really cool. It's almost like they're inside an animal. Like it has like a giant whale carcass.
Yeah, because everything has like bones and ridges and texture to it. This is all H.R. Giger's design. Like he sculpted this and like oversaw the construction of it, and it is very, very reflective of his artwork. It's incredible. So the Navigator is O'Bannon's direct reference to At the Mountains of Madness by H.P. Lovecraft, in which an archaeological expedition in Antarctica comes upon the dormant remains of an ancient alien city. There they find the remains of the race that built it and a race of bioengineered abominations named Shoggoths, which wake from
Is it a good book? No, not even a little. It's very confusing and stupid.
Don't listen to him. It's great. The Shoggoths wake from their death-like slumber and chase the scientists out. John Carpenter used the same model for his version of the Thing 3 years later. And this is also where you could point to Mario Bava's Planet of the Vampires, because there is a moment where they come upon a giant skeleton in it.
Yep.
Yeah. Ridley Scott, he forced the perspective in this to make the Navigator seem even bigger by suiting up his children and having them double as the Nostromo's crew.
Yeah, there's some real questionable shit when it comes to these the suits that they're wearing.
Oh, those suits,
everyone's passing out left and right
because they're in this on a set under hot lights in these like bulky polyester suits,
and there's no exhaust.
And there's no exhaust.
Yeah. Like
so they're
outlets.
in those helmets, just breathing their own carbon dioxide. Everybody, including Scott's children, are just passing out every 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So Dallas looks closely at the skeletal Navigator. There's a big hole in its chest, as if something exploded out of it. Kane, meanwhile, has found a hole in the floor that descends into yet another huge chamber.
Why not go in? Just climb on in there.
So back on the ship, Ripley reports to Ash. Mother has translated the signal somewhat and has concluded that the signal is not a distress call, but is likely a warning. She wants to get out to the away team and call them back, but Ash tells her, hey, there's no point, baby. They'll know if it's a warning by the time they reach the ship.
Yeah, he is suspicious from the jump. He's just like, how about that?
Yeah.
A warning.
Ash is lowered into an even bigger chamber with the same strange organic design. He touches down on the floor, finding a strange glowing mist that conceals a large field of what appears to be eggs.
Yeah, he says it's full of leathery objects.
Gross.
That's what my note says. Gross.
He goes in
He dives in like it's a big swimming pool.
Oh, boy. He goes in for a closer look at one of the very threatening eggs. The top opens when he touches it, and he looks at the body of the egg.
Man, get the fuck out of there.
This is the thing. I got a little note a little ways down, but for such a sophisticated sci-fi horror movie, this cast is just as stupid and makes all the worst decisions as as a cast of Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Looks at the body of the egg.
Because whatever's in that egg, it's not good.
No, and it's like squirming as he looks at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like an asshole, he leans over the opening for a good look, finding something slimy just inside the open. And now the silence is broken as the contents of the egg suddenly spring to life and launches itself at his helmet.
Yeah, it's like, hey, how can you tell if the gun's loaded? We'll just look down the barrel.
Look down the barrel, man.
Yeah.
Sometime later, Dallas and Lambert return to the ship with Kane's body in tow. They enter the airlock and wait to be admitted to the ship interior, but Ripley, the senior officer in charge now, denies the request when they tell her that something has attached itself to Kane.
Yeah. No, she knows. She's right to do this.
Yeah. They need to remain in quarantine in the airlock. They fight over it, but Ripley denies the request, doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. They have procedures to follow for this. They argue that Kane could die in the time it takes to clear quarantine, which is true, but hey, may as well expose the entire crew to whatever this is.
Right.
Surely nothing bad will come of it. Ash goes around Ripley, opens the hatch, bringing them on and placing Kane in the infirmary, where he uses a cutting tool to pull the helmet off. The organism that jumped out of the egg has not only attached itself to Kane, but somehow dissolved the inch-thick glass of the helmet to cling directly to his face.
It's super gross. Like, it still looks disgusting.
Oh, man. It's that Giger shit, man. Like, anybody else's, creature designs would have looked pretty cheesy here.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's very spidery, but it's like without the tail.
It's a hand clutching his head. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love it. When they pull the helmet off, what they find is a strange hand-like spider creature with its legs wrapped around Kane's head and a tail wrapped around his throat.
And the way John Hurt's chest is moving at the same time is also really unsettling.
Oh, man. And then, but as they pull the helmet off, the tail, tightens around the throat. Ooh, yeah. The crew watches through the glass in the hall outside the infirmary. Parker asks why they don't just put Kane on ice until they get back to Earth. A really good question. And they put Kane in a machine so they can have a look inside him and discover that the creature has forced a tube down his throat.
Gross.
Yeah. The facehugger implanting the alien through a tube in your throat came from Ron Shusett, who cited parasitic wasps that do something similar to beetles and caterpillars, though he rather crudely described the process as being fucked by the alien.
Well, that's disgusting. Have a little class, Ron Shusett. This is why your career never went anywhere. You gave us Dead and Buried, and then you got the fuck out.
Oh, there was so much discussion that I fucking left out about this, but I'll just mention it here. But everybody wants to talk about how this is a nightmare of a male rape.
I don't think it is.
Because of the creature penetrates you and it puts its eggs inside a man who becomes pregnant with
this. Is the most postmodern armchair analysis that I've ever heard. Just because something goes into something else, it is not about sex.
I mean, H.R. Giger he would disagree.
For him, that's literally everything. Making breakfast, drawing things for Alien, getting into your car,
entire personality,
talking to your grandma on the phone.
So they take Kane out, and Ash uses a laser cutting tool to cut one of the facehugger's fingers, and it bleeds a nasty yellow liquid that chews through the floor like acid. The crew goes down to the next deck, and then the next, as this acid just eats its way through the hull, eventually coming to a stop several decks below in the bowels of the ship.
Acid blood!
Oh, they determine that this is its blood, and it is a crazy defense mechanism.
I love how he takes a pen from Brett, and he sort of swishes it around, and it kind of melts, and he hands it back to him.
Back in the infirmary, Ash watches the x-ray of the alien's insides inside Kane, and Ripley comes along to get an update, and he tells her that he doesn't really know what's going on.
This scene, I think, is it's the best written scene in the movie.
Also, I want to talk about the shot composition because it is weird.
This is probably one of the best scenes in the movie. I think narratively, it tells you pretty much everything you need to know about these two characters in this one scene. The economy of language here is phenomenal.
It's so great. So also, Ridley Scott seldom keeps the camera still. So far, whenever we're in the ship, the camera is constantly panning around and all around the rooms and halls, like it is in this one. The scene moves very slowly, and then Ripley comes in. And Ash is at his little station doing science stuff. She is at the rightmost edge of the frame, barely in the shot. But you see her, and she's very much a participant in the scene. It's fucking crazy. It's really, really weird. Ash gives her the rundown of everything that he's learned about the facehugger. So far, it seems to be constantly shedding its own cells and replacing them with cells adapted for the current climate. This thing could exist anywhere in the universe and thrive.
And she can also tell that he's lying to her and he's leaving things out. And he also kind of knows that she knows.
Yeah.
Like, so they're doing this dance, and this is when he starts to become more villainous.
Yeah. You know that I know that you know that I know. Yeah.
This is very much like the bomb under the table. Like, you both know that something bad is about to happen, but they don't know. They don't know what it's going to be.
She reminds him that she's in charge when Dallas and Kane are off the ship and that he did something seriously fucking dangerous by letting them back on. She seems to be picking up on his odd behavior here. This is all very out of character for the ship's science officer. He takes what appears to be a big pull of milk from a glass by his station.
Oh, it's so gross. Because later it's going to be like leaking down his head.
Yeah.
Like when Rudy Giuliani's hair dye was coming down. Same thing.
Ash calls Dallas up from the ship's shuttle where he's just chilling out, listening to some classical music. They need to have a look at Kane. When everybody is at the infirmary, they enter carefully, finding Kane's body on the table, but curiously without the facehugger.
Yeah, I feel like the thing on his face is gone is something you should have said before they opened the door.
Right? They creep around in silence, looking for it until the lifeless facehugger falls down from the ceiling on Ripley's shoulder.
It's like calling everybody into the room and then being like, I think there's a cobra in here.
Ripley is, I don't want to alarm you, but there may or may not be a boogeyman in the house.
A boogeyman or boogeymen in the house.
Ripley is ready to flush the dead creature out of the ship, but Ash is stonewalls. They have humanity's first brush with alien life on their ship, and it's quite dead as he pokes at it.
Yeah, but you guys didn't seem all that fazed by the giant desiccated corpse in the other spaceship.
I know. Dallas leaves it up to him as to what to do with the facehugger and walks away as Ripley tries to talk sense into him.
Yeah, because Dallas is a coward, it turns out.
And she does that thing where he's trying to walk away and she just hits the switch and the bulkhead in front of him closes. Baller move, Ellen Ripley.
Yep.
She makes a good point that this entire encounter has put the entire ship at risk, but they're faced with a truly amazing discovery, so who's fucking right here? Dallas issues the orders to take off now that the ship's repairs are mostly complete. It's a little rough going, but they get back to space, hook up with the refinery, and return their course to Earth.
Oh, thank God. Everything's okay.
And nothing bad ever happened again. The end. Roll credits.
End.
Cha-cha-cha. The crew chills out in the kitchen. Again, just talking some shit. Parker and Brett are a gigantic pain in the ass as they discuss what should be done with Kane. Once again, they should freeze the dude, which they fucking should. And I don't know why they won't. Well, because Ash won't. They're all going to have to go back into the pods eventually, which they all dread, but they're waiting on Lambert to report on. And they get a call from Ash in the infirmary to come see Kane. When they arrive, they find him awake and appearing to be a little roughed up, but otherwise okay, considering what he's been through. Doesn't remember anything about what happened to him. They report that they're all going to go back to sleep for the rest of the journey, but Kane fucks up majorly, wants a meal before they go back, and they all head to the kitchen.
Shouldn't have done it, man.
Shouldn't have done it. There's a lot of chatter, everybody being friendly, having a good time. It's all looking good until Kane suddenly comes under some distress. He chokes, going into a fit of pain. He struggles as they put him to the table to stop him from going apeshit on everything.
So apparently they knew how this scene was to play out.
Yes.
But no one had seen what the things looked like or how they were going to actually make it work. So when the xenomorph rips out of his chest, they hadn't seen that yet. And so a lot of when the blood all hits Veronica Cartwright, that is her genuine reaction.
Yes. Yeah, because she was told, hey, you're going to get a little blood on you. And then that thing just explodes out of her. And they had done several takes because like the first time it didn't even it just pressed the shirt outward. And the second time, like a lot of blood came out, but still didn't break through. And so Ridley Scott was just like, okay, like it's got to happen. Really put the blood hose on. And it finally breaks through and the shit just goes everywhere and splatters her. And she steps back and like trips over all the shit behind her.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. He screams and convulses, and then his chest erupts under the shirt with blood, and everybody stops for a second. There's a beat of silence before the struggle continues.
Yeah, I don't think anyone thought that was going to happen.
That was actually a mistake during the production because they were they were waiting for it to come through, and it didn't, and so they all just kind of stop, and then he continues on, and they do it again.
It's a great moment.
Suddenly, the chest explodes and blood sprays on everyone. Something emerges from the hole in his chest, and they all back off, terrified. pokes its little alien head out of his chest. A terrible, phallic little guy with gleaming silver teeth. Rises out of him, emits a tiny little roar, and flees the scene. Movie has been on approximately 1 hour.
But you know what? The pacing works in this movie. Like, it's not
boring. It's not boring at all. I mean, like, they are ratcheting up the fucking tension so that when this scene finally happens, it has...
I imagine, though, if you didn't know what was coming, you probably would get a little bit worried.
Probably, yeah. You know, Star Wars has, like, fucking spaceships going all over the place and planets exploding.
Again, this is just a workplace drama for, like, the first hour.
It's.
I mean, arguably until the end.
You know what? It's blue collar in space.
Yeah.
So the look of the chestburster was taken from the paintings of artist Francis Bacon, whose work has a strange preoccupation with the mouth. The details of faces in his art were often obscured or blurred with mouths open, screaming or having teeth bared. It was something that he put a lot of focus on. The painting in this...
Yeah, you could say that he was unwell.
The painting in this case is a trio of 3 figures at the base of a crucifixion, which portrays these strange bird-like bodies with no features except long phallic necks with a horrible mouth at the end.
Have you seen the painting?
Yes, it's amazing. I love that guy's artwork.
It's all very odd looking. It's unsettling.
Yeah. The crew gathers up on the bridge and watches on the screen as they place Kane's body in the airlock, and then they open it up, ejecting his body into space. Now they gather up as Brett demonstrates some tools, a sort of space cattle prod that they can use to shock the creature when they find it. Ash has cobbled together some rudimentary motion trackers. They split into 2 teams with orders to find and throw a net on it. And once they have it captured...
I love that they're going to net, like with a big butterfly net.
True, yeah. Once they have it captured, they throw it in the airlock and eject it into space. That's the plan.
Mm-hmm. Good plan.
Yeah. Ripley, Brett, and Parker slink around the ship's guts until they come upon some damaged equipment and stop to address it. Fix.
It sort of seems like because Dallas is like, you go with them and I'll go with Ash and Lambert. It seems like he almost sends her he keeps assigning her things almost to punish her.
Yeah, because she's the only one who like faces him. I don't know if it's deliberate, but if it's like a sort of unintended subtext, fucking works.
It definitely feels like it, because I think in the next one where like they have to go in after it, she's like, "Fuck it, I'll go in," and he was like, "No, you won't," and she kind of gives him a look like, "Oh, you're gonna do it?"
Yeah,
like it's great.
The Fix manages to restore some power to the deck, so now they're not wandering around in the dark. They enter a storage area where the motion sensor picks up some movement. Thinking they have it cornered in the hold, they ready the net and prod and pop the container, finding not the alien, but one of film's all-time greatest jump scare cats.
Harry Dean Stanton. Oh.
Jonesy the cat hisses and leaps out of the hold, running down the hall.
It's some real classic haunted house shit.
So instead of looking for the alien, they all scatter, looking for the cat. Brett finds his way to another hold. He hears the cat in the distance and goes in for a closer look and finds the cat. But once again, it gets away. As he's leaving the room, he finds the skin of the little alien guy shed on the ground and comes to a fucking horrible realization.
Yeah. And it's the room he's in is very moist.
Yes. Brett wanders into the part of the ship where the Cenobites live, apparently. It's all black metal and dangling chains, and for reasons I will never understand, it's raining.
Yeah, it's I feel like he uses rain a lot in his later movies.
There's a lot of scenes in Blade Runner where like it's just actually it's a big courtyard in the middle of the apartment building, but like it seems to be raining inside this guy's house.
Yeah, where everything will wash away like tears and rain. Not here though. No tears here.
No, just blood. Or rather, it's just endlessly dripping water from all the surfaces above. The chains swing, and in the director's cut, it's also, you can also see it in some of the sort of extended scenes that are on it. There's a wide shot that shows Brett in the room sort of cooling off under the water, and then it sort of pulls back, and you see him sort of down below, and all of the chains are swinging, and among them is the alien like just swaying back and forth silently.
Yep,
fucking cool. I don't know.
It's really, really cool.
I don't know why they didn't leave it in.
It's sort of like that scene in Black Christmas where she's like standing on the phone and you can just see him sort of standing in the background just a little bit. He's like backed into the corner.
Yeah.
It's creepy as hell.
So Brett finds the cat and tries to lure it out, but the alien silently descends from the chain behind him. It's now fully grown and larger than a human. It is truly one of the greatest monster designs in history.
Yeah.
You don't get a good look at it, but it's one of the best we're going to get for a while. It's a slick black carapace, that elongated phallic head, the long arms and tail. Apparently the costume as designed, but just because they didn't shoot it the way that it needed to be, but like under that sort of like hood on its head, because it has no eyes, but it had like a human skull like right at the front of it.
Well, they do in one of the Predator movies. Predator 2.
In Resurrection.
Okay.
That
in Predator 2, though, when he gets onto the ship at the end.
Oh, right. Yeah. Also, because that is one of the original alien heads from this movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
It would have been cool. I didn't know that. I didn't ever realize they didn't have eyes.
Yeah. No eyes. But if you manage to find that Kenner toy, that 18-inch alien, it also has like a sort of translucent, that sort of hood over its head is translucent, and you can see the skull.
Because they were original design was supposed to be translucent, and it turned out it was just too much of a lighting nightmare, so they just painted it black.
Yeah. I like the way that it is, because
I think the black because it blends in with the ship.
Yeah, because the alien
really cool.
hides among the parts of the ship, and it looks like parts of the ship.
Yeah. I think if you had made it translucent, it would look stupid if you had made it translucent, because there's no way they could have pulled it off.
Yeah. It all seems to unfold from above Brett. He turns to see it towering over him. A small mouth emerges from the larger mouth and strikes, dragging him to the ground while
eat you with my little mouth.
while the cat watches impassively. Back in the kitchen, Parker suggests that it's real big and is likely moving around, through the ship's air shafts.
So wait, did they see it take him?
In one of those cut scenes, because there's a bunch of like little scenes here that are all kind of cut out for just pacing reasons. In the one, they see it sort of take him away, because it doesn't kill Brett. It sort of incapacitates him and drags him away. And later on, towards the end, there's another cut scene where Ripley is running around trying to find a way to the shuttle that doesn't have the alien in her way. And she comes upon this place where the alien has sort of like put Dallas and Brett in these cocoons.
Cocooned them, yeah.
So they look all over the ship's schematics and determine that the ducts do lead to the airlock. The plan is to get down into those ducts and shepherd it around with flamethrowers until they can force it out into space. Dallas consults with Mother for recommendations on how they can force it out of the ship, and the computer refuses to provide the details.
Yeah, Mother's like, bitch, I don't know.
Suspicious, no? But again, like when Ripley gets her chance, she's like, no, bitch, you need to tell me right now. And the computer's like, fine, it's all a fucking conspiracy.
Well, because Dallas is too stupid.
Yeah. Gormless, you might say. God, I love that word, gormless. They all get into position. Dallas gets into the air shafts. Ripley and Ash control the shaft bulkheads while Lambert and Parker watch for the motion tracker.
And this is much more effective in the next one.
Yes, it definitely is.
Because in this one, it's sort of like, okay, speed it up.
Yeah. Dallas sneaks around with a flamethrower as they track the creature's movement against his. They guide him through the shafts toward the creature till it vanishes from the scope. Dallas feels around the floor, finding a puddle of alien slime. And then Lambert...
Which is apparently just a ton of lube.
Yeah, it's all KY jelly.
Yeah.
Very slippery,
it's really,
very
really
slippery
gross.
surfaces. Mm-hmm. Lambert nervously assures him that it is right near him, but he's not finding it. He's about to back out of the shaft when the tracker picks up the alien again, moving toward him. He struggles to locate it and lowers him into a shaft below, right where the alien waits. The last thing we see is the creature suddenly illuminated by the fire, reaching out for him.
Yeah, I think so. It spooked me when it happened, but I think it's the fact that it has its arms out like in this kind of hug-like gesture that makes it look so weird and frightening.
Because it lurches at him very suddenly. Because so far as we've seen, the alien moves really slowly and deliberately, and in this one it just kind of like lurches out. But also the construction of its arms and its hands are really weird. Like
that's why I hate it later.
Okay.
I don't like it later on. I think we look at it too much. Like it's too much focus on it.
I don't know. I love the alien design in Aliens. It's very, very similar, but a little bit more compact.
I like the design. It just looks a little janky in this.
Yeah.
Like it looks a little fabricy, but not in this scene. It's a quick cut and he just sort of like jumps out as if to grab him.
Yeah, how are ya?
Because we've seen so many of these at this point and so many iterations of this design. it doesn't, eventually the aliens don't move like humans. They do a little bit, but they move more like animals.
They kind of climb around on all fours. This one stands on its hind legs.
This one is very man-like.
Yeah.
Even though it's not really supposed to be, there was no way they could avoid it. It's obvious it's a person in a costume. And so it just feels like a guy reaching out to grab him, which is creepy.
Yeah. So they regroup, and Ripley, being the new captain, decides that they should stick to the plan. They track it through the air shafts. Lambert, on the edge of a panic, just wants to abandon the ship and leave in the shuttle.
Hey, that is Veronica Cartwright's lot in life. Being on the verge of panic.
Ripley reminds her that there's only space for 3 in the shuttle, and there's 4 of them. So Parker is determined to find it and kill it. Ripley wants to know the full report from Mother and Ash, but he claims that they're still gathering data and analyzing it.
Collating data.
Still collating data. She's like, fine, whatever. I'll go talk to Mother now that I'm captain.
Yeah.
So Ripley enters the chamber and issues the command to be debriefed by Mother. It fires up the display and returns the same vague data that it reported to Dallas. And Ripley issues an emergency override command demanding the data, and it returns the plan. The company knew about this signal ahead of time. Nostromo's
hoodwinked by machines.
The oldest trick in the book. Nostromo's course was close enough to reroute it and investigate it. Nostromo stops, picks up the specimen, and returns it to Earth at all costs for study. Crew expendable.
But they didn't know what it was.
No, they just know that there's like an alien life form out there just broadcasting a signal that is clearly not from any human.
So just go get it.
Go get it, because we can exploit it, whatever it is. Upon learning this horrible truth, she finds Ash in the pod with her, attempting to explain. She roughs him up, returns to the kitchen where she is unable to raise Parker and Lambert on the comms. Ash closes her into the corridor with him to prevent her from reaching them.
And this is when he becomes fully terrifying.
Yeah. Ash chases her around, suddenly displaying crazy strength that you're not expecting from little old Ian Holm.
But he's closing the door. He's just being, because we don't know that he's an android yet. He's just being very intimidating in that way that men intimidate women. And it's a very, he is now the most terrifying thing on the ship, at least as far as she's concerned in this moment. It's a very interesting turn because you don't expect the villain to be human.
No, and I love this twist too. I can't, again, this is another sort of element of the movie. This is one of those sort of pieces of perfect machinery in this movie that makes it what it is. I cannot imagine what this movie would be like without it, because O'Bannon's script, as we said up top, did not have this.
Right. It would have been just a kind of a cheesy sci-fi.
So it's just them sort of running from place to place until, everybody's dead and it's just Ripley.
Mm-hmm. Then he rolls up a magazine. He's going to smack her to death like a giant bug.
Ash chases her around, and she eventually is knocked out in the bunks. He looks around, considering what to do next, and grabs one of just many nudie magazines nearby, rolls it up, and jams it in Ripley's mouth in a weird attempt to strangle her.
Very, very upsetting.
It's because it's weird.
It's weird and it's extremely violent.
Because he could have just put his hands around her throat, but he does this instead.
Yeah. I think they needed to do something to buy them enough time to make it seem reasonable that the others would show up.
Yeah. So they struggle until Parker and Lambert come along and they pull him off. Unable to move him, Parker grabs a fire extinguisher and hits Ash over the head with it. It sends him into a wild convulsion. Parker hits him again, and Ash's head just flops to one side. Strange electronics erupt from the stump, and a white fluid just splashes all over the place.
It's so fucking gross. He is spinning around the room, the walls of the room, spinning around, and he's spewing this gross liquid everywhere, and he's making this awful noise.
He's keening.
Yeah, it's this really high-pitched wailing sound. It is tough.
Yeah. It looks like he's dead, but he suddenly springs to life again and struggles with Parker. And Lambert comes up on him with the cattle prod and shocks the headless body, causing him to go limp. Nobody can believe that Ash is a robot.
And yet, at the same time, again, not that surprised.
No.
They're well, who'd have thought?
Yeah, he's been like fucking Spock the whole time. Just more menacing. Realizing that Ash was part of the company's plan all along to capture this creature and bring it back to Earth, Ripley thinks that Ash might know how to also kill it, so they rigged up the body to a power supply and bring him back to life, so to speak.
And this is where he gives what is basically the speech from Jaws, where he's describing great whites.
I love it.
Where he's basically like, they're just like the perfect machine.
It's a perfect killing machine. No conscience, just destroying. Ash's eyes open suddenly, his head lying next to the body. That milky shit pours out of his mouth. They ask him how to kill it, and he reports that you can't. It is a perfect organism. It is designed from the atoms up to adapt to any environment and survive. It has no conscience. It is built to destroy. Even in death, Ash is aloof and shitty.
I was going to say, it kind of sucks that they programmed this Rubit to be a smug asshole at the same time.
He offers them his sympathies, and then Ripley unplugs him. There's a new plan. They're going to set the ship to self-destruct and get the fuck out of there.
Good idea.
As they leave, Parker turns and roasts the body of Ash. Suck it, Clanker. So as they make their way to the shuttle, Ripley sends Parker and Lambert down to get coolant for the shuttle as she gets the ship ready and sets the core to explode. As Ripley is getting the ship ready to go, she hears the cat making noise back in the ship and goes to get him while Lambert and Parker gather up all the shit they can carry.
It's nice that she's like, the cat.
I get it. Listen, I get it. You got to bring the cat. You got to save the cat.
She literally has to save the cat.
Literally save the cat. So there's a long, quiet series of shots as Ripley searches the ship for the cat, eventually coming upon yet another jump scare cat in the silence. Parker and Brett, meanwhile, are making so much goddamn noise as they gather up supplies. Brett finds...
Well, you might think that the alien would know where to find them.
Brett finds herself... Because, she's, like, lit very brightly in this. Like, there's a spotlight on her as she's loading up their cart. And then you see the alien's shadow cross her.
I think you see the shadow a little too much in this scene. I think maybe once would have been fine, but they sort of linger on it.
Brett finds himself... Lambert finds herself cornered by the creature as it lowers itself from the ceiling. It advances on her all slimy and shit as Parker demands she move so he can fry it. But she's too scared, so Parker runs up on it. The creature easily knocks him aside and pins him to the wall. It bites him with his little mouth. And then, advances on Lambert. We don't see her death. We only hear it. The sound she makes as she dies are fucking horrible.
I imagine that's what Werner Herzog hears at the end of Grizzly Man when he takes the headphones off and is like, destroy that tape. No one should ever hear that sound.
So this leaves Ripley, the only survivor, as she creeps through the ship down the hall with the flamethrower. She finds their dead bodies and then returns to the bridge to deactivate the self-destruct process. She gets there to activate the self-destruct process. Ripley sets it in motion, and as soon as the system is in place, the ship just goes fucking ape shit. She's 10 minutes.
I love how analog the self-destruct setup is.
Oh, right.
She has to go and screw all this stuff in. It's
cool.
It's very cool.
Like, you got to be deliberate if you mean to destroy the ship. So yeah, she sets it into motion. As soon as the system is in place, it goes ape shit. She has 10 minutes to get to the shuttle and get to a safe distance, or the blast will take her with it. Quietly, Ripley sneaks around the ship armed with a flamethrower and carrying the cat in the box. The ship's tunnels are a labyrinth of steam blasts and strobing lights. She turns a corner and sees the alien. This is
when she's going to start knocking that cat around real hard.
It seems to understand that it's currently fucked. Leaving the cat behind in the box, she turns and runs. The alien considers the little guy as she runs the other way. Her only route to the shuttle is blocked by the alien. Again, there is a cut scene there's that part where the alien leans down to look at the cat in the box, which just does not even realize what's happening. And then what happens is it stands back up and kicks the box.
Aw.
I know. Not necessary. She runs back to the bridge, desperately trying to disengage the self-destruct, but she's seconds too late and it crosses the threshold where her only option is to somehow now get to the shuttle. Amid a sea of erupting steam ducts, Ripley runs back to the shuttle and sneaks back up, finding the tunnel no longer blocked. She recovers the cat, climbs into the shuttles as fireballs just erupt from the ship's corridor. Ripley hits the controls and the shuttle takes off.
Wait, did you already say that she tries to deactivate it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because she gets to that spot where she's like, well, fuck, now what?
It is a little cruel because it's like, sorry, you missed it by 2 seconds.
Yeah. Also, this is another one of my favorite sci-fi tropes, same with the sort of reflection of the screens on people's faces. Sitting at a console and throwing random switches. Mm-hmm. Love that shit. As soon as the shuttle is clear, the Nostromo explodes in one of film's coolest goddamn explosions. It
is, because this could have been real cheesy, and it looks...
It could have been like the Death Star exploding, you know?
Yeah. But they do it with class.
Yeah, it fills the...
With verve, you might say.
Little joie de vivre. It fills the entire screen, blinding rainbow of light that just vaporizes everything around it for thousands of miles in every direction before fading. Ripley quietly mutters that she got it. She killed the alien.
No, you didn't, you fool.
But did you, Ripley? She gets her cat out of the box, sets it down in the shuttle's hibernation pod, and then gets about to prepare him to sleep. Ripley undresses and gets the ship ready to go.
I feel like someone needs to point out Ripley's underwear is about 3 sizes too small. And I feel like that's a real sleazy thing that somebody did on purpose.
They are a tiny pair of panties.
Like there's no way those would be comfortable to wear ever anywhere.
Oh God, no. No, they're constantly riding up.
It looks like they're about to cut off her circulation.
It is a little weird. It is a little weird because it's this like kind of sexy moment in a movie that is very not that.
And you have positioned this character as sort of very feminist, very capable. And then all of a sudden, I guess maybe it's to show her be vulnerable.
Maybe, but also, I don't know if they deliberately made it to be feminist. It just kind of came out that way because...
I think you have to do it that. Like, you couldn't have made her that assertive without intending to do
because, when O'Bannon wrote the script, there's a note at the very end that says... all of these characters are meant to be unisex. They can be played by a man or a woman.
Oh, also the way the movie was supposed to end is that the alien was supposed to bite her head off. And people were like, come on, man. I don't know. I think that maybe it just works out that way and she just plays it that way. But the fact that he is the director and lets her play it that way if he didn't intend for it.
No, because it was Ridley Scott's decision. Like, well, fuck, let's hire some women here.
Right. So he does make an effort. And if they play it that way, he could have been like, no, tone that shit down. Yeah. But he doesn't. He says, roll with it. So I think it is but at the same time, he could have said, can we get her a larger pair of underwear, please?
Yep. She's over there throwing switches, pushing buttons.
You're making gay men in the future sad.
Pushing buttons in her underwear near a terribly familiar object. It would appear that a nearby console is actually the alien's head. And it's
very cool.
It reaches out for her suddenly and she backs off in terror as it unfolds itself from the nook it was hiding in.
And it looks like, I don't know if we're supposed to understand that it's either hurt or stuck or something.
I don't know because it doesn't attack her. It's not ferocious with her in the way that it was with the others.
Right. It's sort of like it takes its time to get out, which is why it's like, I understand you're doing a thing here. Like you can't, it ruins it. If it's sort of like with Ian Holm with the magazine, like you got to come up with a reason, but they don't even really give us a reason. It just sort of sits there for a while.
She backs off into the closet and watches it. And like all those strobe lights and fucking shadows of fans turning and like steam going everywhere. It's just like, just chilling out.
You can see its head and you can see its arm because its arm is hanging out of it. And this is the part I really don't like because it looks like the arm is very fabric-y.
Oh, okay.
And it's glittery fabric and it looks a little cheesy.
Some of the set, like the concept photos of the guy in the suit, like you can find like photos of him just in the full suit without the head. And like, I am glad that they conceal it like they do and they save like a really good look for the end because it's kind of a crappy looking suit.
Yeah, and I think that's what bothers me about that is like they linger on it too much and I'm like, this feels real costumey.
Yeah, like the design is so good, but the actual presentation when seen in full.
Yeah, it's like when the shark comes out of the water in Jaws and you're like, oh, I see why you did it.
Yeah. So Ripley hides in a closet among the spacesuits, watching the alien's horrible form just hang out. Looking at the nearby spacesuits, she gets an idea. Ripley steps into the nearest suit, seals herself up in it, grabs a small pistol that seems to be a sort of spear gun, and steps out of the closet and into the cab of the shuttle where strobing lights are definitely not helping matters.
This feels ad-libbed, what she does here.
This was
not what she does, but her lines feel at least.
Yeah, because the end, this was tacked on to the end. This was another moment where Ridley Scott was like, this feels like it needs that Carrie moment, like one last scare. So he got,
except it doesn't even really get that.
No, so he gets a little extra money, films this scene. I think it's okay,
I think this. Well, go on. I'll tell you what I think after.
So she throws she straps herself into a nearby chair, and the creature remains in its hiding spot. She throws some.
But this is where it sticks its head out, and then it its little mouth comes out, and I like this part because it looks like it's yawning.
So sleepy. Mm-hmm. Yep. She throws some switches that just continue to just bathe it in hot steam, forcing it into the capsule with her. It rises, and for the first time, we get a really good look in it in all of its horrible glory. The alien approaches Ripley, and she throws a switch which opens the shuttle's hatch. The decompression pulls the alien out of the ship and into space. It clings to the door, but Ripley shoots the dart, throwing it out into the vacuum. It's not done, though. It grabs onto the ship and climbs into the thruster to hide out. So Ripley fires up the engines and blasts it out into space.
And I think this scene in the interior on its own is fine. I think the reflections on the helmet are really cool. But it's when she hits the thing and it blasts it off of it.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's such an epic ending. Shit is just going crazy. And to think they did all of this mostly, this is just kind of practical effects.
Yeah. Yeah. The only visual effects in this movie are on the display screens.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking amazing. So before climbing into the hibernation pod, Ripley leaves one last log. She hopes that when the shuttle reaches human space in 6 weeks, they'll spot her on the beacon and pick her up. She has no fucking idea. And she closes up the pod and goes to sleep. Fade out on a star field. Roll credits.
I can see why some people didn't really get this. They weren't that into it. It's a slow burn. I think if you don't know what's coming and you sit there for 45 minutes, I would be inclined to be
this movie was called Alien.
Yeah, I would be inclined to just be like, come on, man, fucking pedal to the floor.
Yeah. Also, it is very much worth mentioning that when Alien came out, theatrical sci-fi at this level was still
Star Wars. It was Star Wars in 2001.
2001 came along, and even after that, people were like, I'm not making a fucking space movie. And then George Lucas just takes a chance on Star Wars, and it blows the fucking doors off. It's a cultural moment that changes everything, and suddenly everybody's like, fuck, we got to get this. But still, in 1979, there's not a lot of these. There's
Star Wars does what The Exorcist does.
Yeah.
It makes it respectable for a minute. Unfortunately, that's why, horror and sci-fi have always sort of gone hand in hand, because they've always been the sort of red-headed stepchildren of the genres.
Yeah, but there's no rule book at this time. There's no conventions to follow. There's no, you need to have a big explosion or a space battle every couple of minutes. This is a movie that could just have the freedom to sort of take its time and do whatever it was going to do. And yeah, it's
if anything, it's more about the blockbuster element.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
that's what they were like, I'm trying to replicate the success of the thing rather than
because this was by this point, by 1979, the summer blockbuster is now a thing. And Alien was a summer movie. Dropped right in July.
End of May.
Yeah.
End of May.
Okay. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it holds up really well.
Extremely well. I think that even with these 4K presentations, it still is extraordinarily impressive to look at.
Yeah. And that a lot of that is because the parts that don't are when you're in that sort of interior chamber with Mother. It's this looks really cheesy. Everything else looks like it's intentional, like it's designed this way.
Yeah.
Not like this is a spaceship. I think the labor and gender elements of the movie are, more salient today than they were in 79, maybe, or at least as salient. And I think it's just it's still a great movie. The next one is dumb as shit.
I fucking love Aliens.
Oh, I love the next one. The next one is more fun,
but it is
for sure.
A big, dumb action movie where it is the fucking polar opposite. That one hits you over the head almost immediately. I think there's 15 minutes of last time on Alien where they sort of set her up with this crew of people, and then they throw them onto LV-246, get them almost all of them killed almost immediately, and then spend the rest of the time shooting aliens and blowing shit up.
Which is fine to get them all killed because they also set them up as the fucking worst people you've ever met.
Oh, I love the Colonial Marines. They are a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah. But yeah, Alien is so goddamn good. Hoo boy. One of the best of all time, for sure. Definitely deserving of its reputation.
Mm-hmm.
I think, honestly, this is a better movie than Blade Runner is.
Oh, I do too. Yeah. I am not a huge Blade Runner person. I think it's fine.
I like Blade Runner quite a bit. I think, you get a great Harrison Ford performance.
I think it's that this movie relies so much on atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Like the performances in this, I think are really good too, but it's so much on atmosphere. Blade Runner is more narrative.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's very visual too, but
yeah. Like he definitely was like, okay, I'm going to take what I learned on Alien and I'm going to really fucking turn it out for this like big cyberpunk thing. And that one's outstanding as well. But yeah, this is like almost, if it's not his first movie, but it may as well be, and it's a fucking home run.
Yeah. I'm into it.
All right. Well, Alien in the can. What's next?
Yeah. Man, we're doing Aliens.
Yeah,
99 rental. We are watching this big dumb bullshit movie, and there's a scene in it, and I am going to beat that dead horse as hard as I can. And then in 2 weeks, I believe the time has come to kick off Pride Month, and we are starting with Dracula's Daughter.
All right. Cool. I'm looking forward to it. I always look forward to our Pride series every year, and this we got a bunch of really, really interesting picks this time.
We're doing something weird this month too. We're watching short films.
Yeah. Ooh, that's gonna be an interesting experiment.
Because one of them has no two of them have no dialogue.
We've been trying to find a way to get that one into rotation, literally for years.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, we'll see you next week for Aliens. We're putting a $sign on it, and then we'll be back in 2 with Dracula's Daughter.